Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic day. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a fantastic day once again. So, I abruptly decided to do a live stream and talk lengthily about a certain individual who has real problems, and that is Dan Bilzerian. I primarily want to talk about it because he has recently I saw that guy. I heard of that guy for the longest time. I don't know, maybe a decade ago at first. Saw his social media and thought, what a jerk. And then nowadays he's suddenly resurfacing and being hosted by Patrick Bet David, Candace Owens, usual suspects, Fresh and Fit, and so on. And he's spouting a lot of nonsense, primarily about I don't know, Israel, Jews, Islam, Islamic terrorism, society, and so on. It's so stupid, and I need to address it because there's a lot of dumb stuff that is being said by him. And yes, hello everybody, hello. It's a Davidless stream. Yeah, David might join later. Might join later. He's asleep right now. He needs his daily sleep. Otherwise, he will get cranky and cry for a bottle. He's sleeping right now. He's taking his day nap, but he might join later. I actually sent him a message to tell him that he can join. But he would also be live tonight with Brother Rashid, and of course, going live with Brother Rashid is not as good as going live with me. But however, he's still going to be live. So if you want to enjoy that, do it. AP Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Shabbat, happy Sabbath to the Jews. M. Ling said, yay, it's so rare to get to join a live. Guten Abend, everybody from Denmark. Guten Abend to you, to Denmark. AP had to join an emergency Mossad meeting. Yeah, I was just sitting there today and, working on different things and thinking, it's kind of a shame that we're not having a live stream tonight. So, but then I suddenly got a call from my Mossad handlers who again sent me like this 100 shekels bill and then said, hey, you have to do something today. And I thought, oh, come on. So they instructed me to talk about Dan Bilzerian. That's what the Jews did. Yes, the Jews. Nice time for Finland. Nice time for Europe in general. Finally, a stream from the Netherlands. Alhamdulillah. AP, I love it when you laugh hard. Your laugh is exactly the same as my best friend who passed a couple of years ago. I'm sorry to hear that, but also happy that I can add something nice with my totally uncontrollable laughter. Hello, AP. Thank you. Morg is 321 said, who is this Bilzerian character? Well, this Bilzerian character, if I could actually find a short summary of who this guy is, I can summarize this guy quite a bit, but it would be nice to just read something about him or just look at something very, very briefly to see. Oh boy, what is this? Okay, let me see what this says. Honest reporting. Who is Dan Bilzerian, the Israel-obsessed, Jew-hating misogynist that the media made? American poker player, businessman, and social media influencer Dan Bilzerian's recent contributions to the social media platform X have followed a disturbing pattern of a video of himself on a podcast denying the Hamas atrocities. The Hamas atrocities of October 7, a graphic filled with fake Talmud quotes and a two-word reply to a post urging America to stand firmly against Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed terrorist group, saying F you. I had a very brief interaction. Well, this is very funny. Here's his social media profile. This guy is going around nowadays, teaming up with Candace Owens and speaking against degeneracy and for, all the stuff that Patrick Bet David and others supposedly stand for. This is the guy. This is Dan Bilzerian. This is Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian is a guy who has nothing at all to do with conservatism, nothing at all to do with Christian values, nothing at all to do with traditions, with traditionalism. None of that. And this is not just the past. It's not just the past. This is Dan Bilzerian in general. This is who he is. He is, in short, a rich kid who was born into wealth. His daddy has money, so he was born into a rich family and used his money to live a lavish life with guns, yachts, expensive homes, prostitutes, and so on. At least as far as we know, as far as I know, he didn't actively engage in human trafficking. He didn't personally traffic women. He only hired prostitutes all the time, which is of course something that you do when you are very conservative and traditionalist and Christian. But and this is not something that is just off the past. I mean, here's his Instagram profile. Look, his Instagram is just filled with. Sorry to put this on the screen, but if you see here these story posts, it's all just complete I don't want to make this judgment. I'm just saying that this is the perspective of conservatives in general, usually full of degeneracy, right? Why is Candace Owens hosting this guy and praising him as a hero? Why is Patrick Bet-David hosting this guy and praising him as a hero? Why are others posting this guy and praising him as a hero? Why are they doing this? Most importantly, here you have naked women running. Look, of course, everyone's dream here. Everyone's very conservative, traditionalist Christian dream. This is exactly what Christians want. This is what Christians need everywhere. This is why this is what the West wants. The West wants this here. The West is so desperate because of all the degeneracy, and this is what the West needs right now. Sure. So this makes me sick because of the whole hypocrisy on the part of Patrick Bet-David, Candace Owens. Candace Owens, together with Andrew Tate and this guy, did a Twitter Spaces in which they together talked, and they basically like tag teamed as these heroes. And Candace Owens supposedly is totally all about being against degeneracy and all of that, and being totally for traditions and conservatism and Christian values. Why in the world would she team up with this guy here? I will tell you why. For one simple, one easy reason. Because this guy hates Jews and hates Israel. That's it. Why did Candace Owens team up with other people of this kind? Because they hate Jews and because they hate Israel. That's it. That's all it takes. So apparently, if you're a decent person, right, a very good, very decent person with, great behavior, great traditions, values, and so on, but you just disagree with Candace Owens, she will block you, for example. But if you are a pimp, a sex trafficker, a rapist, somebody who is just born into fame, into wealth, who lives a lavish life, degeneracy, hires prostitutes, and so on, then Candace Owens will befriend you and praise you because as long as you hate Jews and hate Israel. I don't know why somebody said, yeah, Osama Garau says, ad hominem. No, it's not ad hominem. This is not ad hominem at all. This is not ad hominem. Learn what ad hominem is. Ad hominem would be if I have a discussion or a debate with somebody, or I address this guy, for example, and instead of talking about the claims, talking about everything surrounding it, I will, I will completely ignore all of that and just attack this guy's character. That's not what is happening here. What is happening right now is, first off, calling out the hypocrisy on the right, the hypocrisy of Candace Owens, the hypocrisy of PBD, and so on. And also, we will be getting to this guy. So this is not ad hominem. Don't use big words just because you see them online. That's not how it works, man. Riker, AP about to pull out the fallacy card. I swear I'm going to buy the fallacy game and start pulling cards. Osama Gorao said, "That's exactly what you're doing." And well, if you're stupid, that's not my fault. I'm sorry. So he'll probably reply now and say, "Look, that was again ad hominem." No, it's not, you idiot. Anyway, let's be nice to each other, okay? So I want to look into some of this guy's conversation with Patrick Bet-David, but also into some of it with with Myron here. I didn't watch any of it except for seeing a few clips, shorts pop up. So I want to look at those. I also had a brief interaction with him. Speaking of ad hominem, by the way, why would I talk about this guy instead of talking to this guy? I also tried correcting him on something. As soon as I did correct him, here is what happened. Damn Bilzerian, you're blocked. This is what happened. As soon as I corrected him, this is literally what happened. Another person, of course, here is Candace Owens. As soon as I called her out for hosting Andrew Tate, she blocked me as well. And then, of course, just to make it all better, because 3 is better, 3 is very, very good, 3 is a great number. Just to add to that, let's see who else blocked me after I called them out. Oh, look at that. The tough guy, the sex trafficker, Andrew Tate. He also blocked me. And then, of course, there's also his brother. He also blocked me. So these guys are, they pretend to be open to conversation, pretend to be open to thoughts, pretend to be open to questions, and so on. But as soon as you call them out, as soon as you ask questions, as soon as you have discussions with them, as soon as you correct them on something, they block you. It's not just one of them, it's all 3 of them. All 3 of them, man. And what I did to this guy, by the way, was nothing big at all. He made a post about the Talmud. And I corrected him on that. In fact, let's get to that very, very quickly. I have to change accounts and go to my alternative account, my throwaway account, to to look at what I actually did to this guy since he blocked me. Let's see. Let's look at the throwaway account from me to this guy. Talmud. Something about the Talmud. Okay. All right. So here. This is weird. Okay, got it. So here is the post. Here is his actual post. It says, the Talmud is, after the Hebrew Bible, the central text of Rabbinic Judaism and the primary source of Jewish religious law, halacha, and Jewish theology. Of course, he copied this description from somewhere. Until the advent of modernity in nearly all Jewish communities, the Talmud was the centerpiece of Jewish cultural life and was foundational to all Jewish thought and aspiration, serving as the guide for the daily life of Jews. This is so funny. There's no way he actually wrote this himself. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do these things actually work? Let's see. I wanted to try one of these. Huh. I don't know. I can get a resolution for this. Not sure if this is an actual AI text or a real text. Anyway, so he posted this. Then the classical meme of Talmud quotes, supposedly, even the best of Goyim should all be killed. All children of Goyim are animals. Gentiles, Goys, are not humans, they are beasts. A Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl. You know what's very funny about this? This source, Gad Shas, doesn't even exist. It's completely made up. It's completely made up. It does not exist. There is no such book. When you look for Gad Shas, when you Google Gad Shas, what you get is people wondering what in the world Gad Shas is. There is no such source. There is no such book. It is completely made up. It does not exist. It does not exist. There is no source. So imagine they post this meme with that actually has a fake source in it, with a fake quote, and when you call them out on it, they actually they don't want to talk about it, or they dismiss it and say, so what about all the others? I mean, really, you are posting fake quotes. You're posting fake sources. Fake sources. And you don't care that some of them turn out to be false. You just say, okay, but what about the others? Not what about the others, man. Why in the world would you accept just posting fake sources? So anyway, I quote tweeted this and made a post about fact checking this blurry image of the Talmud and went through the sources. And I went through the first half of it and basically debunked all of it. And then I left a comment on his post saying, God just doesn't even exist. These sources are wrong. This is made up. You don't know anything. You are an idiot. And then he blocked me. That's it. That's how simple it is. Imagine, instead of correcting me, this tough guy just blocked me because he can't correct me because he's lying. So anyway, let's look at what this guy is saying. Let's look at a few parts.
Started getting more into the reading of it, but let me go back to, so then a part of, for someone who lives life from a extreme standpoint, right? A Michael Jordan, it's an extreme life, you know, the life you're living. Trump, it's an extreme life. You don't have to be that extreme to win in media, real estate, and politics. It's extreme. Why are you putting yourself through that kind of a life? In bodybuilding, in fame, in celebrity, all of that stuff. What did you have a moment as a kid where it was like the most painful moment that impacted you for the rest of your life? Like, was there a moment?
No, there wasn't any like one moment. I think I got a lack of attention as a kid, and the fame thing was more of a social experiment.
Yes, it shows.
I think I got a lack of attention as a kid, and
I'm sorry, but yeah, it shows.
The fame thing was more of a social experiment, and it was more just like, I'm gonna do a bucket list of all the things that I want to do, because I made a bunch of money and kind of had a lot of time, and I was, overplaying the poker. So, and Instagram was kind of like a new thing, and social media, and also it was a little bit of a fuck you to the ex-girlfriend. It was like kind of like the perfect storm of just like, let's see what we can do with this. And I also knew that it would correlate to getting more girls too, because it was kind of like
this is so funny. He's talking about making money. This is not just somebody who rises to fame by making a lot of money, who rises from the bottom to the top. This guy made money by using the wealth of his father and investing that into poker playing, which is, of course, a very Christian and very traditional and conservative way of making money. Totally. And according to the reports, he lost tons of money playing poker. And he did several things, such as failing to pay different things, being sued, having a place that he rented stuff from lose millions of dollars because of his massive expenses. Got into trouble for beating up somebody, beating up a woman, and throwing a woman off his roof, and so on. Because that's what they do. That's what they are. That's how they are strong, by beating up women. I have to tell you, one of the strongest signs, one of the greatest indicators that you are a very, very strong, very tough guy is that you beat up women. This is what they all have in common. Dan Bilzerian, Andrew Tate. Beating women is a great sign that you are very, very strong and very tough. Alhamdulillah.
A little bit of a dating app, if we're being honest. And so
anyway, I really don't care about this aspect. I want to get to this part now. Okay.
Present with you. Recently, when I watch some of your tweets, I don't know if you've announced this or not. I don't know if you've joined AIPAC. I don't know if you are, if you are an advisor for them. Let me read some of these tweets. Muslims aren't the problem. The open borders and motherfuckers and the media attacking nationalism, pushing DEI, transgenderism, and destroying moral values are the problem. August 4th. If you don't put America...
This is so stupid. Muslims aren't the problem. All these other things are the problem. This is how out of touch... I'm sure there are lots of Europeans watching right now. And Europeans who are conservative or who are just even regular liberal, and many others. In Europe, this is a surprise to many Americans, but in Europe, many liberals are actually totally against Islam and all that. Some certain people in America who just, go online and start speaking about things are so out of touch with reality, so out of touch with cultures that are actually close to the Muslim world. So out of touch. You have these idiots like this guy in America. Then you have Nick Frito in America. Then you have Candace Owens in America, and all these others in America, right? They talk about, oh, we have been told Muslims are the problem, but it's actually not true. That what's actually the problem is DEI and this and that and that and this. Yeah, cool. Okay, you might not care that much about Muslims. You might not care that much about Islam as a problem. How about ask the Europeans? Or maybe ask yourself, why in the world is it that uh, that all of the major right-wing parties that are popular with people in Europe have a contra-Islam, a counter-Islam agenda that is very big with them? Why? Is it because Europeans are somehow so obsessed with Islam, whereas you Americans are so smart that you're not? No. It is because in Europe, the people who have a lot of influx from Muslim cultures realize that the biggest problem to them and the biggest threat is the importing of Islam, which is why in countries like the Netherlands, Germany, France, the UK, and many other places, you have right-wing parties and even centrist parties that make it a primary issue to stop immigration, to stop giving Islam a free pass, to stop building mosques, stop making excuses for Islam and Muslims, and so on. This is what people care about because this is what people are suffering from. To an average European, right? To an average European on the streets of Germany, DEI doesn't mean anything. DEI is not a thing. It's especially, or I don't know, all of the other issues, the gender issues, whatever you want to talk about. These things are not remotely as important as the influx and the heavy infiltration that they see by Islamic culture into their European cultures. I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Germany. I know how Germany looked a long time ago, in the 90s, in the early 2000s. And people were then concerned and were predicting things that are nowadays happening. Massive streets being taken over, cities taken over by Islam, cities taken over by Muslim import, by the Islamic agenda, mosques built in the middle of the most important cultural centers of Europe. This is why people care about Muslims. This is why people care about Islam. While you in America, with your money and your lack of care and your comfort, talk about, oh, we've been distracted with Muslims. The actual problem is transgenderism and DEI and this and that. Nobody gives a damn about that in Europe, where people have real problems. Okay, grow the hell up, man.
First, as a U.S. politician, you are committing treason. Supporting Israel is bad for America. Netanyahu is moral orders and motherfuckers, and the media attacking nationalism, pushing DEI, transgenderism, and destroying moral values are the problem. August 4th. If you don't put America first as a U.S. politician, you are committing.
Very good example. Aparatchik, thank you for bringing it up. Worked in Frankfurt am Main in late 90s. AP is correct. Frankfurt is a city in Germany that was that has great historical heritage, that has I lived not very close to that place, close-ish, but been there a lot. So we went there. I went there a lot with my parents as a child, as a teenager, and so on. And it is one of the worst cities now. It is actually one of the worst cities in Germany nowadays. Although it was a very important, very European, very German place that has all the architecture and the order that you can find in, when you want to look for something traditional, something old in Germany. Nowadays, it is overwhelmed with crime, overwhelmed with gangs, overwhelmed with Arab gangs, with Turkish immigrants, and so on. It is one of the worst cities. It is a terrible place nowadays. It once was a good place. You have entire districts, entire parts of Berlin that are the capital of Germany, that are completely taken over, that are nowadays known as just the Arab part of Berlin or the Turkish part of Berlin. And guess what you find there? You find gangs, families, crime families, fighting against each other, working for dominating the place, bribing police officers, and so on, selling drugs. Meanwhile, they're more religious Muslims who are not part of the crime families are there preaching Islam and trying to build mosques and take over the society and dream of making Europe Islamic and making Germany Islamic. But yeah, let's worry about DEI and transgender and sexuality and gay stuff and, Netflix.
Committing treason, supporting Israel is bad for America. Netanyahu is a convicted war criminal, and Israel is not our ally.
Netanyahu is not a convicted war criminal. Somebody who says this just doesn't know what he's talking about, is lying, or just misinterprets whatever they hear. Netanyahu is not a convicted war criminal. Okay? What happened is that there was a demand, a request to issue an arrest warrant on Benjamin Netanyahu. Then another minister in the IDF, Gallant, and also all of the Hamas leaders. That's what was issued by the ICC. However, it hasn't been issued yet. It was only requested. It hasn't been issued yet. He was not convicted. He didn't even go to trial. Convicted war criminal. The absolute moron.
You don't DEI
Why is this guy even talking?
Transgenderism and destroying moral values are the problem. August 4th. If you don't put America first as a U.S. politician, you are committing treason. Supporting Israel is bad for America. Netanyahu is a convicted war criminal, and Israel is...
If you sat down and asked this guy why supporting Israel is bad for America, he wouldn't be able to say anything at all, except cite the same nonsense. Like, well, I'm sure it will come up. And he'll be like, well, how about let's talk about 9/11? Let's talk about JFK and who's turning the frogs gay. Totally unrelated.
Was not
working with. Look, America is not a stupid country, right? America is not a country that is ruled by mindless people, by infiltrators, by demons, by lizard people that are just letting this government do whatever they want. You elect people into power who are in hundreds part of the government, who come together and who make policies based on what they aim for and work for. There is no secret lizard people, a council of lizard people in charge that is steering America. America is allied with Israel because it is beneficial to America. Israel needs the American industry. Israel needs American security. Israel needs American alliance in the Middle East. Guess what America needs? America needs a good, reliable partner in the Middle East. America needs to sell things, which is why they have Israel. America subsidizes Israel. Subsidizing means gives them the funds or the means to then purchase a bunch of equipment, weapons and self-defense and so on from America. So what happens there is America helps Israel, Israel helps America. America helps Israel, Israel helps America. It's basically helping each other by subsidizing, by being allies. Israel is benefiting from buying stuff from America, which they develop, by the way, to a great extent, right? And America is benefiting also from the technology that they receive from Israel. Israel is a world leader in tech development and in defense technology and so on. Plus, there is a lot of strategic stuff at work. America is allied with Saudi Arabia, for example, because of oil. But Saudi Arabia is not a reliable partner. Israel is. And so on.
Our ally, we fought way too many wars for Israel, and we certainly don't need to give them any more.
We didn't fight any war for Israel at all.
Money, July 25th. These idiots have ruined movies. Everything they put out is literally propaganda. And then all of a sudden, we got scripture here for.
These people are ruining. I don't know why you're watching movies, considering that lots of Jews are in the movies, in the whole industry. It's all their work. Why are you watching their stuff anyway, and then complaining about it? That's the logic, right? They own all the media, so why do you even care? Make your own movies. What a thing to complain about, movies. Oh, great. Let's complain about movies.
For what
Muslims are not the problem. Movies are the
shall
problem.
it profit? For what shall, all of a sudden, we got scripture here. For what shall it profit? For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Is this recent, comments you're making about Israel a recent thing, or have you always had these beliefs?
It's more recent. I didn't really realize what a problem it was until recently, and then everybody was scared to say something about it. My brother told me, like, you can't say anything about it; they'll fucking kill you. Like everybody.
Yes, as you can see, they killed him. Since he started speaking out about Israel and Jews, they killed him. See, this is not him talking right now. This is actually a placeholder, somebody who was put in his place who is speaking, because they killed him after he started speaking out. Everybody's scared. Everybody's terrified. Everybody is absolutely terrified. Anyone who uses X nowadays, who uses Twitter nowadays, will probably know that nowadays everybody is complaining about Jews, about Israel. People are praising Hitler. People are doing all kinds of messed up things. A kickboxer, Jake Shields, is there praising Hitler and bashing the Jews and making excuses for the Holocaust and so on. But hey, apparently nobody dares to speak. Apparently you can speak, and apparently they kill you if you speak out. Right. One thing again to point out here, he recently started speaking about this because he realized. What did he realize? Was he educated? Did he read stuff? Did he pursue a special degree? Did he work with people to then form opinions on these things? No. The only reason we know about this guy is that he has a rich father, and he lived a lavish life that people, had their mouth watering over whenever he posted a bunch of photos with prostitutes on Instagram. That's why. That is why.
Basically said that I couldn't say anything about it, and actually now they're like literally like trying to like kick me off the board of my company because of those tweets. So, like, shit. Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of like negative pushback. A lot of my Jewish friends.
What company? Dan Bilzerian company. Let's see, what company has he? What company? Ignite brand. Yeah, I don't know if you think that if this guy made similar statements that he does about Jews, about Muslims, I'm pretty sure that they would want to kick him off as well, right?
Friends, but I don't give a fuck. It's like one of those things where I know that it's the right thing, and the fact that everybody else is scared to say it makes me, feel obligated to be vocal about it.
Why?
Yeah, everybody's so scared.
You think it's the right thing?
Because I know that they're a fucking parasite.
It's so brave to speak out against Israel and Jews. So brave. I so much respect all of these people who are putting their life on the line, speaking out about Jews. So dangerous.
Like, be vocal about it.
Why do you think it's the right thing?
Because I know that they're a fucking parasite. Like, they provide the U.S. absolutely no value. They've done so many things that, would constitute, an act of war against us. I mean, USS Liberty, Lebanon Affair. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. But,
go on and on and on and on and on. Go on and on and on. There's only really one thing that you can cite here. The USS Liberty. Happened when? 50 years ago? 50 years ago, when Israel was not even closely allied with America as they are today, where they were in the middle of extremely high tensions, where they then fired on a U.S. ship, and for which they paid fortunes, right? For which they paid fortunes. Let's see. In May 1968, the Israeli government paid the U.S. $3.32 million, equivalent to today's $29 million, to the U.S. government in compensation for the families of the 34 men killed in the attack. In March 1969, Israel paid further $3.57 million to the men who had been wounded, and so on. In today's money, close to $60 million they paid to the U.S. in compensation for firing at a U.S. ship during heightened tensions in the 60s. But hey, let's just hold them accountable for this forever, permanently, right?
And I think they knew about 9/11.
You think they knew about 9/11? Okay, I think you're an imbecile.
No, I'm wrong. But I think they knew about 9/11.
Yeah. Obviously, Dan Bilzerian, you can't trust Dan Bilzerian because I think he's an idiot.
I think they had JFK assassinated. The first thing that
I think he is gay.
wanted to do, right before he died was, make AIPAC a foreign entity.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he actually wanted to do. Okay. Let's get into it. What he did was he overall went against the lobbying system and wanted to change the entire lobbying system. Which is in great detail something to talk about, and not as simple as 3 words here, right? Not as simple as 3 words here. There is a lot to go into. There's too much detail. Not sure I can actually address that. I would have to further study the topic, but that's not remotely what happened. Further study the topic because I want to get everything right about it. I'll make a note of this. But yeah, there is no single evidence at all, although this is a very popular thing to say, that that Kennedy, right before his death, wanted to make AIPAC a foreign entity. There is no such thing. This is what they will say. Oh, I think that's what happened, and obviously they killed him because he wanted to make AIPAC a foreign entity. There is no evidence. Show us the evidence. There is nothing.
Mm-hmm. And not allow them to have nukes, and then all of a sudden this fucking guy's dead, and Jack Ruby, who is Jack Rubenstein, I mean, it's just like, and then you just, I don't know, man, I can't ignore all the shit that they've done. They sold their secrets. Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. We fought all these fucking wars. My friends have died over there, and I just look at what they provided us with.
It's so funny how he's fleetingly mentioning little things as if they were facts. There is one thing he is right about here. Okay, there's one thing he is right about, which is Netanyahu actually did in the early 90s make the claim.
You just, I don't know, man. I can't ignore all the shit that they've done. They sold their secrets. Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. We fought all these.
Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. Okay, Netanyahu did one thing, which is, I want to talk about AIPAC in a little bit, and specifically what it is about, because lots of people are opposing AIPAC without, of course, ever saying anything about all of the other lobbies, because it's Israel. But we'll talk about that in a second, because people think it's an organization that just gives people money, and people love it. That's why they support Israel. That's not how AIPAC works. AIPAC is not giving people wealth. Okay. However, there's one issue that he just addressed, which is that yes, Netanyahu did say, and eventually did come to the U.S. and testified, and in his speech say that there is no question that Saddam is pursuing weapons of mass destruction. That's what he said. That was a statement that he actually made. It turned out to be mostly false. The U.S. invaded Iraq based on suspicions that they are pursuing weapons of mass destruction, or that they have weapons of mass destruction. It turned out to be false. Iraq, at that moment, did not possess weapons of mass destruction. That is a fact. That is true. So when Netanyahu said that there is no question that Iraq possesses or pursues weapons of mass destruction, I guess I actually want to get his quote right. Weapons of mass destruction. Did he say pursue or possess? That's very, very important. It's a very, 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 very important distinction. Claiming that Saddam Hussein is building nuclear weapons. He said pursue. Okay, he said there is no question that Iraq is pursuing weapons of mass destruction. Now, you could say that he made a claim that was unfounded, and we didn't actually find weapons of mass destruction. Here is one problem, though, that people fail to notice. This guy probably doesn't know why people had this suspicion. This guy probably doesn't know what Saddam and weapons of mass destruction have in common, right? Saddam did different things in his own country to his own population, including the Halabja massacre. Of course, if you mention it to this guy, he'll probably think, what is that? I never heard of that. I never heard of that. Nobody ever mentioned that to me. The Halabja massacre. Here. The Halabja massacre took place in Iraqi Kurdistan on the 16th of March, 1988, when thousands of Kurds were killed by a large-scale Iraqi chemical attack. Thousands of Kurds were killed by a large-scale Iraqi chemical attack. A targeted attack in Halabja. It was carried out during the Anfal campaign, which was led by Iraqi military officer Ali Hassan al-Majid. So, in Iraq, in the region of Halabja, in northern Iraq, which is nowadays part of the autonomous region Kurdistan, through chemical attacks, they killed thousands of Kurdish people. Thousands of Kurdish people. Do you know what this is called? This is called a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. Weapons of mass destruction include nuclear weapons. Let's see. Nuclear weapons, radiological, chemical, biological, or other devices that are intended to harm large numbers of populations of people. So this attack here, this massacre here, is an instance of Iraqi use of weapons of mass destruction under Saddam. This guy actually used weapons of mass destruction against his own population. This is one fact. This is only one of the massacres. There were more massacres that Saddam committed, or that his army committed against their own people. The other fact is, it is very, very well known that Saddam was pursuing strongly the building of weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapons, in the 80s and in the 90s. Apparently, it stopped at a certain point, or slowed down significantly. What America discovered when they invaded Iraq, is that Iraq did not at this point currently have active weapons of mass destruction. That's what they found. So they found that Iraq does not currently have active weapons of mass destruction. It is no question, however, that Saddam did use weapons of mass destruction in the past, which is why it is normal to assume that he is probably pursuing more. Plus, it is also very well known that that Saddam was pursuing the building of nuclear weapons and so on. This is all known. This is all a fact. In fact, this is funny. I saw him use ChatGPT in response to somebody criticizing him. I now want to use ChatGPT to ask this. Did Saddam pursue the development of weapons of mass destruction? So, Dan Bilzerian, when people were trashing him about the Talmud, responded by posting ChatGPT's response. So I want to now use his technique here, his great technique. I just asked ChatGPT, did Saddam pursue the development of weapons of mass destruction? Here's what ChatGPT said. Yes. Saddam Hussein pursued the development of weapons of mass destruction, including chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons. His regime used chemical weapons during the Iran-Iraq War and against Kurdish civilians in the late 1980s. However, after the Gulf War in 1991, Iraq's WMD programs were largely dismantled under international pressure and UN inspections. Despite this, Saddam's regime maintained the appearance of weapons of mass destruction capabilities as a deterrent. They made it look like they do have them, which contributed to the justification for the 2003 invasion of Iraq, though no active WMD stockpiles were found at that time. I almost want to go and show you how Dan Bilzerian also used ChatGPT to respond to people, but you can find it. I mean, if you just go on his X profile, you will see him actually pulling up ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT questions and then posting the response. Well, here is his own technique. I just asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT just agreed with me entirely. There you go. Here, Dan Bilzerian has been intellectually molested.
These fucking wars, my friends have died over there, like, you know, and I just look at what they provided us with, and it's fucking, it's not nothing. It's like a negative, you know. It's not, even if they just didn't do jack shit, that would be, you know, bad, but they've actually done things to hurt us over and over and over again. So like this whole thing of they're our greatest allies, just complete fucking bullshit.
Like, you know, Israel did all of this stuff, and I disagree. I disagree here with Dan Bilzerian. You know, like, he doesn't like Israel, but actually, it's like he totally like doesn't know, and he thinks like he hates Israel. I can vouch for it. Israel has been fantastic. Israel does all of these things for us, these wonderful, fantastic things. Like, you know, there are so many things that I could count. I just don't want to count them right now. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, everybody knows. Like, I could just go on forever.
And, you know, we send them $100 billion, then they send AIPAC $100 million, and then they distribute it to our politicians, and every politician is a little fucking AIPAC handler walking around and telling them what to fucking say and how to vote. And it's just like, look, I'll donate like $100,000 to politicians.
Look, here's what AIPAC does, okay? AIPAC, like any other lobby, they don't seek out politicians and say, hey, help our cause, and we will give you tons of money. Look at this. I got this bag here. I got this bag with all of this money. It'll all be yours if you just support our cause. I will give all of this to you. That's not what AIPAC does, okay? When somebody works with AIPAC or any other lobby, they're not getting a bunch of money from AIPAC in cash in return to get rich. What AIPAC does, like any other lobby, is they pursue people who will help their cause, and in return, what they do is to support their campaign and lobby for them. That's why it's called lobby. They lobby for those candidates by paying lots of money into promoting those people and helping them with their political campaigns. Putting up billboards, putting up signs, putting up all kinds of things, helping them with their exposure, helping them, solidifying their image. It's basically like hiring a group that does your advertising for you because you don't want to do it. That does your advertising for you on a very professional and great scale with lots of influence. And they pay it, so you don't have to pay for it. They pay it. In return, what they want from you is that you pursue their policies, which they favor. The same politicians could also go to a different lobby and get that stuff done. They don't actually get money bags from these lobbies. They get their expenses for the campaign covered, which they would otherwise get from another group covered. This whole idea that people are actually getting tons of money, tons of bags of money from Israel or from AIPAC or from other lobbies is complete nonsense. That's not how it works.
You know, and they call me up like, hey, you need anything? Like every week. I don't need shit. I fucking sit on my ass. I don't do anything. I don't care. I don't fucking break any laws. I don't need any favors. Like I just gave it to them because I didn't want to see any more fucking retard, Democrats in there. So, but that's 100,000. Like, what does 100 million buy you? How many fucking phone calls do those guys get? Yeah,
I'm sure he can give us receipts of all those phone calls, right? By the way, I want to tell you, everyone, since I have been speaking about October 7 and also about speaking out against Islam, I have been getting non-stop calls from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, especially Qatar. Man, these guys are so annoying. Qatar guys are so annoying. Iran, I didn't get much, but I get calls from Qatar all the time, calls from Saudi Arabia all the time. They offer me 100,000, 200,000. They say, hey, publicly say I reverted back to Islam and we will give you $2 million. I just don't want it. You know? I don't like it. I don't like money. Here, I made a claim. Can you dispute it? No.
And so, like, I just know how it works, and the system is broken. Like, these people get into office and they don't have very much money, and they get out of office with fucking tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not a fucking accident, right?
Is that an Israel thing, or is that anybody? Because China's doing the same thing.
China it doesn't
Iran's
have
doing the
their,
same
they don't
thing.
have an APAC. Like, Israel.
Yeah, China doesn't have an APEC. The China lobby is one of the greatest lobbyists, foreign lobbyists in U.S. politics. Let's see. Foreign Lobby Watch. I had one of those lists handy. The greatest foreign lobby groups in the U.S. by country. Okay, here, open secrets. You can get a lot of information from here. Foreign Lobby Watch. This here lists the greatest foreign governments contributing to lobbying in the United States for their policies. Look what you see here at the very top. Which one is the greatest lobby, the greatest foreign lobby here? China. It's China. China. Oh no, it's China. But hey, China doesn't have an APEC. It's because it's China. Japan, Liberia, South Korea, Marshall Islands, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahamas, United Arab Emirates, Israel. You know why APEC is different? APEC is different because APEC is located inside America, where people who favor collaboration with Israel and partnership and alliance with Israel contribute to the funds, to the lobby. On the other hand, you have organizations that are foreign, which lobby, which support, or which pay toward policies that favor them in America. And China is the largest when it comes to that. But hey, why don't you talk about China? Well, they don't have APEC. See, this is one of those reasons why you don't just invite people like this guy. And then give them a platform and let them talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, why don't you invite other celebrities? If being a celebrity, if being known, if having followers, if numbers is all that matters to people like Patrick Bet-David, why doesn't he invite Instagram model influencers? Why doesn't he invite porn actors and actresses? Why doesn't he invite movie actors? Why doesn't he invite better Armenians like Kim Kardashian, for example? It's the same thing. This guy doesn't have anything better than them. This guy is not known for his opinions. He's known for his degeneracy. That's it.
Israel is the only one that has a fucking, like, a lobby in the U.S. fucking, giving these politicians money.
Okay, no, every country, the big ones all have lobbyists. They all have lobbying that they're doing.
Not in the U.S. They're registered as foreign entities.
Right. I mean, if you're talking about, are you going to the
Okay. And
dual citizenship part with Israel, Israel.
That's another problem is a lot of our politicians have far more allegiance to Israel than they do the United States. I mean, that's a whole nother issue as well.
Do you know why they did the dual citizenship? Do you know the history behind why they did the dual citizenship?
What do you mean?
Like, so the whole concept of dual citizenship was because when Israel became a, country again, they didn't want the people from here who wanted to go back to Israel that didn't have a motivation to go if they were going to lose their citizenship here. So that was the reason why they did it. It was kind of like, okay, you're your own country. We kind of need some of you guys to move over there to help the country out. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. Why are you not going to go? Am I going to lose my citizenship here? But you are. I mean, we don't do that. Every other country, I don't want to lose my citizenship. Well, okay, how about if we do this? How about if we allow you, just Israel, to go back to your country? You won't lose your citizenship. That was the arrangement at the beginning why they did it that way.
No, look, I get it. I have
Yeah.
3 citizenships. You know what I mean? I think it's okay. I think the
Oh no, he has 3 citizenships. That means he is more loyal to those 2 other countries than he is to America. He's more loyal to Armenia than he is to America. This is why he's trying to damage America from within, because he's pursuing pro-Armenian politics. See, there you have it.
What's the third one? I know Armenia, but what's the
St. Kitts.
Okay, got it.
The what?
Okay, I think the
What's the third one? I know
Did you say St. Kitts?
Armenia, but what's the
St. Kitts.
Okay,
Isn't that an island in? Where is that? That's a tiny Caribbean island. That's weird. Why is that? Is that because of wealth investing? That's kind of funny. I don't care.
okay, got it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have an issue with dual citizenship. My issue is when somebody is holding a U.S. office and they are putting a foreign nation's interest before America's interest, and they're.
This is such a stupid claim that they always make. But ask them what they actually mean by it, right? Look, it is completely normal for a person in America, for a politician in America, to favor policies that closer align America with a certain country, like Israel, for example. It's completely normal for Americans to also suggest, no, you know what? Let's not be as close with Israel anymore. Let's be closer with this other place instead. That doesn't mean you're prioritizing that other country. It means you care about that other country, and you see the benefits, and you see the partnership, you see the good of it, which is why you support it. Or it has different meanings. It has different value to you. That doesn't mean you are therefore not America first. You're now Israel first. That's such a stupid fallacy. You're not either pro-America or anti-America. You're not either America first or Israel first. This is a stupid false dichotomy. It doesn't work that way. I must say, for me, for example, I have no allegiance, no ties to Israel at all. Okay, I have nothing aligned with Israel. I am not from Israel. I've been to Israel once. I'm not even Jewish. I'm not paid by Israel. I don't work for anybody in Israel. I, however, think that the matter of Israel is an extremely crucial matter that decides, or that is a great factor in what party I vote for and what candidate I support. That does not mean that I support Israel more than I support America. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I'm an American citizen, and I want to preserve America and American values, American traditions, the way America is. I don't want it to turn into another self-hating European country that bends over and lets others do whatever they want with it. But I think Israel is, for many different reasons, for me personally, in terms of the historical aspect and values, a very important country. To that also you could add, which to me is not that important, honestly, but you could add to that strategic issues, partnerships, and so on. For me, it has very great sentimental value. To me, Israel means a lot on a personal level, which is why I would totally support pro-Israeli policies. That does not mean I am Israel first. That's stupid. That doesn't follow at all. The logic there is broken.
Favoring that other country. And so that to me is treason. Like when you are
well, to me, being as dumb as you are is treason. So there you go.
U.S. government official, your motivation should be to do things in the best interest of the government that you are representing, not
100%.
some other fucking foreign country. And that's the problem.
Okay, so but go through it. So what is the solution? Meaning, if Israel's the enemy,
I agree with that. Therefore, I disagree with Dan Bilzerian. It makes no sense at all. But you don't have to make sense. You just have to say things. I should say, for me, I think it's the most important fucking thing to support America first. To support America, and I fucking think that supporting Israel is the best fucking thing to do in this fucking place. And now I sound better. See, now maybe I will be invited to Patrick by David now.
Then if let's just say you don't do anything and everybody in the Middle East unites to take out Israel, do you think the Middle East is better without Israel? And do you think the world's a safer place without Israel?
That's an important question. Ayatollah Khamenei said, why does Dan have a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome BDSM style haircut? I don't know. He has a strange haircut. I don't hate it. It's a bit goofy though. I don't care. Rishabh Tripathi said this, if this is true Islam, then I will follow Dan. Yes. Because of all the prostitutes? Yeah, great. See, that's the influence of Dan Bilzerian. Ayatollah Khamenei said Bilzerian's initial achievement in the spotlight is failing out of BUDs as he attempted to become a Navy SEAL and quit due to being a pampered softie. But he has big muscles and he has a bunch of prostitutes, so in your face. Rick and Rolla, a shekel a day keeps the dawa away. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. Jace the Shepherd, an Iranian Muslim, asks his daughter what they want for Christmas. She answered, a Baghdad. Also, Destiny thinks Russian AIs on X made people crazy. Yeah, I think Destiny Destiny is also crazy. He's not alone on that one. No, I love the guy, but he's kind of sick when it gets to American politics and morality, and he's falling into that crap. Ness Ivan Matthew 7:15-23 is about people like this Dan guy and Andrew Tate, every single word of it, and people who support them. Shabbat Shalom AP. Thank you. Appreciate it. Matthew 7:15. Now, because you brought it up, I'm going to look at it. But I'm going to look at it in with my preferred translations. So let's see. 15:23. Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing. Oh, okay, I know this part. But inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Grapes are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor figs from thistles, are they? So every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit. Yep, I know this part. Thank you. Good reminder. Good reminder. I would say that applies more to people like Muhammad. But nowadays, probably also to people like Dan Bilzerian. I mean, back in the day, in Muhammad's environment and time, it was probably a great thing for a prophet to be followed by a bunch of idiots. Nowadays, Andrew Tate and Dan Bilzerian are probably the equivalent of that, of just collecting a bunch of totally dumb people around them by being complete scumbags. Ayatollah Khamenei, Patrick bin Laden and his MLM scam insurance agency is a perfect match for Dan Bilzerian. Alhamdulillah, perfectly said. Ayatollah Khamenei, there should be an award show called The Grifties just to give these people awards for their frauds. There are no Daily Wire. What a relief. Thank you. You're welcome. I texted him.
100%. It's not even close.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you think?
Okay, he says, wait a minute.
Do you think the Middle East is better without Israel? And do you think the world's a safer place without Israel?
100%. It's not even close.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you think?
Give me an argument otherwise.
Please, but
give me.
That's not how it works, Dan. That's not how it works, you imbecile. You're asked the question, and you say 100%. 100%, of course, yeah. Without a question, 100%. Huh. Why? Well, give me an argument to the contrary. No, you're supposed to explain why the hell you have that position if you're so convinced of it. You idiot.
One argument why the world would be better off with Israel. Let's just start with that. One thing. Give me one thing.
Have you ever lived in the Middle East?
That it's of course stupid of Patrick Bet-David to fall for this one, but Dan actually just engaged in one of the dumbest ways of responding to a question.
Do you think the Middle East is better without Israel? And do you think the world's a safer place without Israel?
100%. It's not even close.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you think?
Give me an argument otherwise.
Please, but
give me one argument why the world would be better off.
Okay, so you come and ask me, do you think this guy stole the cake? And I say, yeah, 100%, 100%. Of course, 100%. There's not even a question. Okay, what makes you think that? And I then respond with, well, give me an argument to the contrary. Tell me why he didn't steal the cake. Seriously, man? This is what we're doing? And Patrick Bet-David actually goes along with this? If you're so convinced of a certain position that you hold, you're supposed to give your reasons for that. Not then get into the defense and suggest that the other side instead makes their arguments. What
with Israel. Let's just start with that. One thing. Give me one thing.
Have you ever lived in the Middle East?
No.
I lived there for 10 and a half years. It's a very...
Yeah, great. See? Never lived... Probably, has he ever been there? I wonder.
It's not as like here. You can sit here. You can be an atheist. You can be an agnostic. I can be a Christian. He can be a Jew. He can be an LDS, Muslim. No problem. We can coexist here. You can do that in Israel. You can do that.
I mean, not really. They're operating apartheid right now. So everybody's not living equally.
Not at the...
Oh my God, you imbecile. No, they're not. Please, Patrick, please let him explain what he means by that. Please do it. If not, then I will explain it in a second.
Level of Iran, not at the level of what Iran is doing. I mean, in Iran, if you're thinking what Israel is doing out of control, do you know how much money Khamenei's family's made? Do you know how much money they've taken? They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi. Like I've been to UAE. So like, and they're all Muslim.
Did he just say that? Did he just say what I think he said?
How much money Khamenei's family's made? Do you know how much money they've taken? They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi. Like I've been to UAE. So like, and they.
Listen to this again. I will count the countries that he counts here.
They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi. Like I've been to UAE. So like, and
yeah, he actually just said that. So he said, I've been to Dubai, I've been to Saudi, I've been to UAE. I'm sorry, but you are retarded, man. This guy is retarded. This guy is absolutely, he doesn't even know that, he doesn't even know the countries that he went to. Look at it, look here. Look, let's look at Dubai. When I Google Dubai, look what I get. Dubai is a city in the United Arab Emirates, in the UAE. So Dan Bilzerian went to Dubai, to Saudi Arabia, and to the United Arab Emirates. Have you ever been to any of those countries? Well, yeah, I went to London, France, UK. That's basically what this sounds like. What an idiot, man. What an absolute imbecile. And you actually invite this guy to give his opinion on matters of the Middle East.
Doing out of control. Do you know how much money Khamenei's family's made? In Iran, do you know how much money they've taken? They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi. Like I've been to UAE. So like, and they're all Muslim. They seem to be operating fine.
I would say Iran slightly.
Please tell me why this guy should be sitting here and we should be respecting his opinions and not Kim Kardashian. Come on, go ahead. Go ahead, tell me. Come on.
Different than, but go back to it. So, okay. So you think the Middle East and the world would be a better place if Israel didn't exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks. They're
what? Israel is committing terrorist attacks?
Stealing land right now. They're operating apartheid.
Oh my God, this is so freaking stupid. Gemstone, your arguments are just ad hominem. Are you trolling? I hope you're trolling, because if not, then you are just as dumb as Dan Bilzerian. So, hey, Israel is committing terrorist attacks. Yeah, Israel is going around in the Middle East committing terrorist attacks. Yeah, Israel is committing terrorist attacks. And then also they're killing Palestinians and there's apartheid. Oh my God, I'm listening to the dumbest thing in the world right now. Israel terrorist attacks. Okay. I should do a thing, like take a shot whenever he says something stupid. Black Angel, thank you. Tate is a genius compared to him. Yes. I must say, Andrew Tate is compared to this guy a genius. Absolutely. I will admit this once. He just said that Israel is carrying out terrorist attacks.
So many terrorist attacks.
They didn't exist.
Yes.
Please
Okay.
tell me about one significant terrorist attack by Israel.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks. They're stealing land right now. They're operating apartheid.
They're stealing land right now. Oh my God. I made 3 notes. I'll get back to that.
They're currently committing a genocide on Palestinians. Like,
Currently committing a genocide. Okay.
do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense?
Well,
when 1,200 people died,
Yeah.
of which the 1,200 you've killed, and admitted that
Right.
you've killed a lot during, your
I
Hannibal
will tell you this. I will tell you this.
No, that didn't happen. That is completely false. That's completely a lie. And I will say, I, as a nobody compared to this genius powerhouse of intellectual thought, Dan Bilzerian, if I had a discussion with him about this, I would intellectually, in Mohammed Hijab's words, intellectually molest this guy. I had a debate about this with Daniel Kikichi. He made the very same claim. He looked like a complete idiot when I asked him to elaborate and to give us the evidence. Israel did not admit to and did not kill many of the people who died on October 7th. It was 1,200 people. This never happened. This is completely made up. It never happened. Okay. There is one report eventually from the United Nations, from an independent group within the United Nations, supported by pro-Palestinians as well, of course, that found that that several people may have been killed as a result of Israeli fire on October 7th inside Israel. Is that a very big surprise? Is that a very big revelation? No, it's not. It's not. It absolutely is not. Every single government, every single entity, every single military that has ever engaged in fighting has committed or has accidentally harmed or shot or killed their own. Every single military does that, because that's what happens. If there is massive fighting and shooting going on, I can tell you how much of deaths in war are friendly fire. Eurasia Review. In the first Gulf War in 1991, 24% of the American soldiers who died in the battles died because of the friendly fire. 77% of U.S. military vehicles were destroyed by U.S. troops. According to one study, 10-15% of American casualties in all wars in the 20th century were the result of friendly fire. Does this mean that Americans are evil and America is evil now? Because America, reportedly, even by their own reports, by their own records, causes so much death from friendly fire. Does this mean now America is evil? America is deceitful. America kills their own to cause problems around the world? No. It is a regular number. According to the research of warfare, between 10 and 20% on average of deaths during war are due to friendly fire. The fact that you have a UN report which says that maybe a dozen or less of people on October 7 were killed as a result of Israeli fire is not something that depicts Israel as extremely bad, but rather, if we were to just take those numbers at face value seriously, you could even conclude that Israel's numbers there in that case were quite impressive. Yes. What a freaking idiots, man. Man, what imbecile. What an absolute imbecile.
The part I question, where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this.
You've killed a lot during, your Hannibal.
I will tell you this. The part I question, where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this. I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they were attacking.
They knew about it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. Yeah, they wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
They want a reason to take the land. Dude. In 2005, Israel officially dismantled their settlements in Gaza and left Gaza and said, take it and govern it. I will tell you one of the main justifications for that, even among the right wing and the religious aspects of Israeli society. There are two things you can do to finish the conflict with Gaza, right? One of them is to annex Gaza and make it officially part of Israel, which would mean making all of those people who live there citizens, part of your own population. Gaza Strip population. Let's see. And that would be around 2 million people. 2 million people. What is Israel's population right now? Israel's population is around 9.5 million people. If Israel annexed Gaza, and made them part of the Israeli population, Israel would also have to give them equal rights, including the right to vote in Israel. 2 million people, of whom many think that Jews eventually deserve to be eradicated and Israel deserves to be destroyed. 2 million people who believe that all of the land should eventually belong to them. And you suddenly give them the right to vote. This is literally suicide. That imagine doing that in Europe. Imagine in Europe, you suddenly accept, as a regular European country, you suddenly accept 2 million people who are quite explicit that they want your country destroyed and turned into some shithole, and you just import them and like, okay, everybody become part of our country and also have equal rights and vote just like us. It would be instant suicide. Instant suicide. It's stupidity. This is one of the main reasons why Israel thought, okay, there is absolutely no benefit and it is not smart at all for us to govern this place. Let's leave. So they left. Why in the world would now Israel want to take over this place again and take control of it? They even tried to give it back to Egypt or to Egypt and let them control it. What an absolute idiot. This guy is taking reports of Israeli intelligence being informed that Hamas is planning something and not properly acting on it. This guy, like many others, take that as a sign that Israel deliberately let it happen. That's not what any of the reports say. The reports say that there were lots of reports and suspicions that Hamas was planning something, but that Israeli intelligence and Israeli government didn't take it seriously and didn't act properly upon it. That doesn't mean they knew exactly what was going to happen and let it happen. That's not how it works. Osama Garawi, you were saying that I'm doing ad hominems when I was talking about this guy's lavish life, and now you're here saying nothing but dumb stuff about Zionism.
And they killed their own citizens. And they claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a
okay. So he appealed to a report saying that Israelis died by Israeli fire, and now he's saying that the claims about rape are bullshit. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see what the same reports that he just appealed to when he made a claim about Israel killing their own said. Reasonable grounds to believe conflict-related sexual violence occurred in Israel during October 7 attack. Senior UN official tells Security Council. World Without War. There was further the report which came later on. That was in June. When was that? June 1st, wasn't it? Let's see. June. Inquiry finds Israel, Hamas accused of war crimes, October 7 crimes against humanity. Let's see. Detailed findings on attacks carried out on and after. Where is that? Here is Human Rights Watch, October 7, crimes against humanity, war crimes by Hamas-led groups, numerous war crimes, summary killings, hostage taking, and other war crimes, the crimes against humanity. I made a whole stream about the report, man. If I can just get the report very quickly. Here is the whole report, but I don't want to read the whole thing now. Sexual assault. Is it here? No, it's not. That's a funny thing to type here. Sexual and gender-based violence. There is a whole section about it. Has considered several indicators of sexual violence, issued calls for submission. Investigating sexual gender-based violence is always difficult, but the Commission has faced additional challenges in its investigation. Forensic evidence absent, has not met any survivors of sexual violence committed on October 7, despite its attempt to do so. Where is the freaking page of that direct report? Come on, man. It's very, very simple. Mission report, June. Let's see. Conflict-related sexual violence. Do I really have to go back to my actual stream to find out the page, man? I don't know why it's so hard for sometimes to find something so simple. Conflict-related sexual violence, Israel, annual thematic reports. UN report, sexual violence, Hamas. I just want to back this up to show how hypocritical this is, although I already covered this lengthily. Anyway, for some reason I can't find the easy page. All I wanted to show was the quick summary on the UN's own page about the report, just to have it easily visible for everyone. Instead, all I find is repeatedly this extensive report of that details everything, which is not what I'm looking for, because I'm not going to read a whole bunch of articles here. But anyway, it has been covered a lot. I made a live stream about this, where I went through the whole report and also went through the headlines. And that is found right here. See, there I even pulled it up. There I even pulled up the whole thing. But here you can find these. You have this report of sexual violence. Some have been subjected to various forms of conflict-related sexual violence, including rape and sexualized torture and sexualized, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment. Also has reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may still be ongoing, and so on. Anyway, so this is all detailed and reported, that Hamas committed great acts of violence, great acts of rape, sexual violence, sexual torture, and so on. To sit here and to deny this and to say that this is a lie is just such a scumbag move. This guy is simply a liar.
All these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a fucking...
It wasn't actually an official report that said beheaded babies. It was one journalist making the claim based on what she said a soldier on the ground said. We went through this again.
Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the...
No, they didn't. They didn't. There's no evidence at all.
Palestinians have been caught doing it. In fact, they just got caught gang raping Palestinians. You know, how many babies have they killed? All of them.
Israel has just been caught gang raping Palestinians. I would really want to ask Dan Bilzerian here to detail exactly the event, okay? To detail exactly what he's referring to and to detail exactly what happened. I can tell you what he's referring to. He is referring to an incident where the IDF itself arrested several Israeli reservists for allegedly engaging in sexual violence or sexual torture toward a Palestinian Gazan in detention. Specifically, there was a video which showed that these reservists in the IDF, right, not officials, reservists in the IDF, picked out a certain person who was in detention, who, by the way, was not just some regular civilian, he was a Hamas official. They pick this guy, this Hamas terrorist, and lead him to a section hidden from the rest of the public and cover the scene up. And later on, this guy, in pain, returns to his place. And there's also a part of a fence missing. Now, this is all you can see from the video. You don't actually see people gang raping Palestinians. This is, by the way, the one incident he's referring to, and thereby making this accusation. Meanwhile, he's denying the rapes that were overwhelmingly proven committed by Hamas against Israelis. This incident, where the reservists took somebody out there, covered him up, and he then came back in pain, is alleged to be an incident of sexual related torture against that guy. But the allegations there are specifically that these reservists, sorry to say it, put something up this guy's butthole. Yes. Whereas the other claim is that the guy hit something in his butthole and they tried to take it out of there, and while doing so caused immense pain or deliberately tortured him in the process. That is it. An object that was included in a terrorist's butthole. And I will by no means say that this is a justifiable thing to do, right? Just because a guy is a terrorist, that doesn't mean that that it is okay to sexually torture them by putting something up his butt, right? I wouldn't say that. That said, if I did, for example, encounter somebody who I know has raped a bunch of innocent people and massacred them, I wouldn't have any concerns about what happens to that guy. However, in this case, we're simply talking about some terrorist who was in detention. That's it. That's it. But to take this incident of reservists inserting something into a terrorist's butthole or removing it and then causing pain, and to depict that as gang raping Palestinians while denying actual rape by Hamas is such a scumbag move again. And these are the kind of people who are given platforms.
They accuse the Palestinians of, or Hamas of, or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves.
So you
And they've been doing
Evidence, zero.
that. Like, October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like, the start of this was not.
Really? October 7th wasn't the start of this. Nobody said October 7th was the start of this. Nobody said it started on October 7th. He's going by a meme that goes around online which says it didn't start on October 7th. And they say it started on October 7th. Nobody said it started on October 7th. What did start is one war that we are now in since October 7th. The conflict has been going on forever. And you know who started it? The Palestinian Arabs. In 1929, they massacred the Jews of Hebron and drove them out. In the early 1920s, they attacked Jews. In the 30s, they committed multiple pogroms against Jews. In the 30s and the 40s, they rejected multiple deals to live together with the Jews and committed massacres against them. They started a civil war which turned violent. In 1948, when Israel declared their own state, the Arabs, instead of making peace and declaring their own state, attacked and invaded Israel with the aim of eradicating Israel. Their main leader, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin al-Husseini, was a friend of Hitler, who, together with Hitler, wanted the extermination of Jews altogether. If anything, it was the other side that started it over 100 years ago, and Israel has been on the defense ever since. If anything, Israel has been naively peaceful and patient, and too kind.
But they've done so many
I don't
different.
disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like, it's not like October 7th is like, it's all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just killed people. Like, they have been killing Palestinians for years and years, operating two sets of justice. You know, it's like they have the justice for the Palestinians and the justice for the Israelis. And if you read the Talmud, like, you know.
Oh my God. Okay, before we get into the Talmud, I now want to address a few of the things that I made notes of. So, right, when Patrick but David said that in Israel you can actually, like, everyone has equal rights no matter their religion or origin, this guy said, well, not in Israel, they have apartheid there, they treat different groups differently. Now, there are certain people who actually accuse Israel of doing apartheid. But even those people, when they accuse Israel of apartheid, don't mean that Israel actually, actively, officially discriminates against their own population by religion or ethnicity. That's not the claim. That is not the claim. That's not what people are talking about. So for this imbecile to sit there and to make that accusation is simply stupid. The accusation is that Israel is exercising apartheid in their treatment of the Palestinians in the West Bank or Judea and Samaria compared to the people inside officially internationally recognized Israeli borders. That's it. That's the apartheid that people are talking about. Within Israel, every human being who is a citizen has completely equal rights. There is no distinction at all. Completely equal rights. And in fact, Israel is the only country in the Middle East where most immigrants, or where most minorities are doing quite well, are happy. Over 85% of Christians say they are happy with life in Israel. Muslims have equal rights. They have a 20% Muslim population, and so on. However, they are accused of apartheid because those on the other side of the border, in the West Bank, in the Palestinian territories, are treated differently because they are not considered citizens, because they are not part of the actual Israeli nation. They are considered occupied or partially occupied. This is the apartheid accusation. So this guy doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about when he's making this accusation. Now, that is complete nonsense. He said Israel commits terrorist attacks. Look at this, man. Yeah, I opened the stupid notepad, and these are the notes that I'm making. It's just so stupid. The first here was apartheid, which I just deleted. Israel commits terrorist attacks. Anyone will just laugh at this and will say this is just so incredibly stupid, I don't even know how to respond to it. Israel is not committing terrorist attacks anywhere. Israel is not stealing land right now. That's not what's happening. Not sure where this guy is living and what fantasy this guy is living. Israel is not right now stealing lands. Israel is accused of occupying a certain part of the West Bank, also called Judea and Samaria. And that's what people mean when they say stealing land. Of course, there is this other narrative by Palestinian Arabs that say Israel stole our land, and what they mean is that Israel in general is stolen Palestinian land. International law doesn't agree with that. Israel is an internationally recognized state, which was directly granted by the United Nations after being promised by the League of Nations, which is the predecessor of the United Nations. It had borders drawn for it. The borders were expanded on after the Arab side declared war on Israel. And Israel then said, okay, we're taking more than we actually wanted, plus we have to establish proper borders for proper security. If you don't like it, well, boo-hoo. You shouldn't have waged war against Israel. That's it. Nobody's stealing land right now. None of that is happening. That's nonsense. And currently committing genocide, well, prove it. You know what? You know how many babies were born in Gaza recently, during the war, since the war? Babies born in Gaza since October 7th. Okay, there are reports that range from 25,000 babies to 50,000 babies. According to Hamas, during this entire war, let's see how many people were killed on the other side, on the Palestinian side. According to Hamas, 40,000 people. According to IDF sources, of those, or not of those, according to IDF sources, 17,000 Hamas members were killed. 17,000 Hamas members were killed in Gaza. Okay? Given these numbers, you don't have a declining population. You still have a growing population right now. You still have a growing population, even according to the terrorists. You know what genocide looks like? Genocide looks like this. Genocide looks like this. This is the population of Rwanda. The population growth of Rwanda during the Rwandan genocide. And then continue up again. This is what genocide looks like. Now, we don't have the current graph for the development or for the population growth of Gaza since October 7, but here is what the growth of the Palestinian population looks like, according to historical data we have so far. Green is Palestine, Palestinian territories. It's flying. Apparently, this is how genocide works. Compare this. This is actual genocide. And this is the Palestinian population under Israel.
If you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. The justice for the Jews in years operating two sets of justice. It's like they have the justice for the Palestinians, the justice for the Israelis. And if you read the Talmud, if you're not Jewish,
read a Talmud. Yeah, if you read a Talmud,
you're basically not a human. You're like cattle. If a Jew is killed by somebody that's not Jewish, then it's the death penalty. If a Jew kills somebody that's not a Jew, then
okay. Apparently, according to the Talmud, non-Jews are not humans.
Like cattle. If
they're like cattle. They're like cattle. I want to actually address this directly, but I'm kind of wondering if I could have anyone who is religious, learned Jewish rabbi or student, anyone join me right now. If anyone is in touch with anyone who has any online presence, somebody who wants to discuss on Jewish texts and Jewish morality, and they want to join me live right now, please let me know. Let them send me a text. Let them send me a message on Twitter. I will look at it at this moment. I would get in touch with. Oh, wait a minute. It's a very wrong time to do that. It's okay. In Israel, it's Sabbath, so I didn't really take that into consideration. In America, about to be. In Europe, it already is. Okay, that's probably not a good idea. Probably can't do that right now. But he is accusing once again the Talmud of saying that non-Jews are not humans. Oh my God! And of course, this guy would know. He's an expert. He's an expert. AP, get your head shaved like Dan. Sure, we'll do that. Let me just pull up a few sources here. Talmud, ex-Orthodox Jew here. Okay, let me know what you want to say. Meanwhile, I will put up a few things here. I showed this yesterday already when we were talking about Martin Luther. Okay. Here's how the Talmud actually views non-Jews. The court tells the witness, therefore, Adam, the first man, was created alone to teach you with regard to anyone who destroys one's soul. Anyway, the Mishnah cites another reason Adam, the first man, was created alone. This is the Talmud, Sanhedrin 37a. This is court, law. The Mishnah cites another reason Adam, the first man, was created alone, and this was done due to the importance of maintaining peace among people, so that one person will not say to another, "My father," i.e., progenitor, "is greater than your father." And it was also so that the heretics who believe in multiple gods will not say there are many authorities in heaven and each created a different person. My father, i.e., progenitor, is greater than your father. Nobody should say that because everyone comes from Adam. This is the Talmudic view on humanity, on humans, on Jews and non-Jews. You accuse these guys here who read this text, who study this text and teach this text, of thinking that Jews are superior and all non-Jews are not humans and so on. Their text clearly here says Adam was the first man, and this was done for the importance of maintaining peace, so that every person, every human will not say, "My father or progenitor or ancestor is greater than your father." All humans are human. All humans are equal. This guy is, of course, going to a misinterpretation of what the Talmud says in a different part. And just because there are imbeciles like this guy around, I kind of don't even want to address it, because you have idiots like this guy who will take something that the Talmud says, where rabbis are discussing something, and not understand the point, and then make some stupid accusations about it. However, let me bring up one refutation of what he just addressed and meant to say. And I will go to that refutation, to a very well-known ancient old source. The accusation that non-Jews are not human, and that only Jews are human. Okay? Talmud Bava Metzia 114. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said, "The graves of Gentiles do not cause ritual impurity in a dwelling, as it says in Ezekiel 34:31." Look, they're by the way appealing to the Bible here, not making things up. "Now you, Israel, are my sheep, the sheep of my pasture. You are man. You, Israel," the subject of the verse, "are called men, Adam, and Gentiles are not called man." Somebody like Dan Bilzerian will read this and will say, "Wait a minute, what? Did I just read this correctly? Is it really saying that only Jews are men and that Gentiles are not men? What? Does this mean we are animals?" No, that's not what it's saying. It's not what it's saying at all. It is analyzing a certain context here, and they're saying that this certain text addresses Jews, Israelis, or Israel, as man, while it does not address, in this case, Gentiles as man. They are making this distinction here for a technicality to point out that in the matter of visiting graves, Jewish graves or Gentile graves, only the graves of Jews would cause ritual impurity. The graves of Gentiles would not, because the laws apply differently here, because there is a semantic technicality at play where only the Jews here are referred to as men within a certain context, not the Gentiles. That does not mean that the Talmud says Gentiles are not humans. This is only a quote by a certain rabbi, which people understand when they read the actual Talmud. But Dan Bilzerian, of course, does not understand. There further is another piece. "Now you, Israel, are my sheep, the sheep of my pasture. You are men. You are, Israel is the subject of this verse, are called men, and Gentiles are not called men." I will show you very, very clearly that this does not mean what this idiot thinks it means. And this article already does it for us by simply going to another part of the Talmud. Here. Talmud Gittin 47a. Look at this now. Look at this now. Let's pay close attention to this. "A Gentile has the ability to purchase land in Israel in order to dig holes and caves. As it says in Psalms 115:16, as for the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth he has given to mankind." Literally to the sons of Adam. Uh-huh. Wait a minute. So the Talmud does call Gentiles humans, because it's or men, because it says the Gentiles have the ability to purchase land in Israel, because God refers to them as humanity or as men. Uh-huh. But wait a minute, I thought the Talmud says that Gentiles are not men. Huh. Interesting. Furthermore, Avodah Zarah 3a, Rabbi Meir would say, how do we know that even a Gentile, this is actually a very significant one here, very significant one here. How do we know that even a Gentile who engages in the study of Torah is like a Jewish high priest? Do you hear what it says here? How do we know that even a Gentile who engages in the study of Torah is like a Jewish high priest? Wait a minute. I thought the Talmud says that Gentiles are not human. Now it even says that a Gentile who engages in Torah study is like a Jewish high priest. Whoa. We learn from the verse Leviticus 18:5, which man shall do and by which he shall live. In the context here, it clearly is not only calling Gentiles man, it also is saying that a Gentile who engages in Torah study is like a Jewish high priest. Uh-oh. This is it. That's as simple as it is. This debunks every single stupid claim that these idiots make about the Talmud. I don't follow Judaism. I don't follow it. I don't believe in the authority of rabbis. I don't even believe in the Torah. I have pretty much no issue in this at all. But if these people are going to sit here and vilify Jews by making lies about their texts, I will then sit here and correct these idiots about what the text actually says. That's what I do. If you can't handle it, I don't care, honestly. This is the same thing that I have been doing with Christianity. I don't believe in Christianity, but if Muslims are going to lie about Jesus and about the Bible, I will sit there and make corrections about it. That's it. That's what I do. If you don't like it, I don't care. It's my sense of justice. That's what I do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
There you go. Nazis debunked.
If you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. You're like, you know, like cat.
See, we just saw it in the Talmud, right?
If a Jew is, you know, is killed by, you know, somebody that's not Jewish, then it's the death penalty. If a Jew kills someone,
That's not what it says at all. It's once again talking about the technicality of court. Once again, would have somebody who comes and talks about it from a Jewish perspective. Always welcome. Maybe we'll have that again sometime.
somebody that's not a Jew, then, you know, you can't kill them. It's not the death penalty. Like they literally like segregate in their Bible.
They're very protective of themselves. I don't think anybody can debate that. I don't think it's a
well, it's not the problem isn't that they're protected.
They literally segregate. What Judaism does is it preserves Jewish society. It preserves Judaism. It preserves Jewish heritage. It protects Jews. Leaning on much of the narratives in the Bible of Israel, of the nation of Israel, and every Christian who knows their Christianity, who knows their Bible will know this, of Israel being surrounded by pretty vile enemies, including those engaging in child sacrifice and being hell-bent on destroying the people of Israel, God's people, according to the texts. And God then instructing them to defend themselves, to fight, and to take care of them, to blot out the memory and the name of Amalek, a very, very prominent, very dominant narrative in the Bible and in Jewish tradition. This is not about hating others. It's about protecting yourselves.
Protect themselves. The problem comes when you think that you're better than other people and you think it's okay to lie to anybody that's not a Jew. You think it's okay to steal from people that are not a Jew.
Oh, God. Nobody thinks it's okay to steal from non-Jews. Nobody thinks Jews are better than other people. Look, this is so funny. Jews could think that they are better than other people, right? And you should be okay with that as a Christian. As a Christian, don't you think that having a Christian moral compass is better than not having one? Don't you think that being a Christian is better than not being a Christian? Don't you then therefore think that Christians as a collective are, due to your moral stances, due to your differences, better than others? You should think that as a Christian. Muslims think they are superior to everyone else, and that all non-Muslims are the worst of creation. This is literally what the Quran says. It's not what Christians say. This is not what Jews say. It's what the Quran says. Jews could technically think being a Jew is better than being a non-Jew. Jews are better than non-Jews. Jews don't, however, push that narrative. They say that Jews are the chosen people, chosen for a certain role. They never imply that Jews are, simply because they're Jews, better than other people by birth or anything like that. We just went through it. That's nonsense. Here's what the Quran says, however. 98:6. I know I have to pause this guy after every word because he's a complete idiot. Here's what the Quran says. Why don't we talk about this instead of talking about fake stuff from supposedly Jewish sources? Indeed, they who disbelieve among the people of the scripture, meaning Jews and Christians, and the polytheists, will be in the fire of hell, abiding therein eternally. Those are the worst of creatures. Indeed, they who have believed and done righteous deeds, those are the best of creatures. In short, those who disbelieve, non-Muslims, are the worst of creatures. And Muslims are the best of creatures. Non-Muslims are worse than cockroaches. Non-Muslims are worse than bacteria. Non-Muslims are worse than donkeys or whatever it is. And Muslims are the best. This is what the Quran says. This is what Islam says. It's not what the Talmud says. It's not what Jews say. It's not what Christians say. This is what Muslims say, because that's what the Quran says. But yeah, hey, let's talk about Jews. Let's talk about the Talmud. Let's talk about fake Talmud quotes. And let's say Muslims are not actually the problem.
You have two sets of standards. The problem with that is it allows you to rationalize anything, right? And human beings are generally self-serving creatures. So if your fundamental religious belief system allows you to operate in such a way that you believe there isn't consequence.
Osama Garow, stop lying, AP. What am I lying about? Tell me. Go on. Go on, tell me, what am I lying about? Did I just lie by saying that the Quran says that that disbelievers are the worst of creatures and Muslims are the best of creatures? Was I lying there? Please show me that. Show me what I was lying about. Tell me what I was lying about. Come on, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on. Go ahead. There is a very interesting article that I read a long time ago, which is by Chabad. Chabad, for those who don't know, is considered one of the most orthodox. It is the most prominent Jewish movement in the Jewish world, that is known for their very orthodox stance of of Judaism, their rejection of reform and modernity and all that. They are very happy and very nice people, but who have a stance of outreach Judaism, to reach Jews everywhere and to instill Jewish values once again, and so on. The so-called Rebbe, who is the Menachem Mendel Schneerson, he was at the head of this organization. Very well known, amazing people, but very true to the scripture. Nothing modern. Here they have an article about, isn't it racist to believe that Jews are special? Because somebody asked this question. Go through the article. The entire article is about how this is not the view that Jews have. And when you are proud or happy to be a Jew, it's not that you are better than others. And it does not mean that you are better or above other people. It is rather about having a special role, a special agreement, and so on. Or if you want to listen to rather, people who appeal to the culture, to the pop culture, you can also listen to a conservative rabbi about this. In fact, I think I should have that immediately ready here. Alex O'Connor recently talked to this one conservative Jewish rabbi and asked him the question about chosen people.
That they
Rabbi David Wolpe, he gave a nice response. And there was also, in another instance, Ben Shapiro answering the question about chosen people. He also gave a very nice response. But here you can have it from this guy. Let's look at this for a second. Why are you making excuses for Jews? Because I want to.
a Christianity would put it.
Yeah, well, this sort of theme of the chosen people of God
Right.
is like the theme of the Hebrew Bible, and it does seem strange to me, I must say, and I speak to a lot of my Christian friends about this. We sort of say, how do you feel about Judaism? And they say, well, obviously we're not Jews, but Judaism is very special. It's obviously attached to Christianity.
Yeah, stop talking. Come on, let me answer the question.
But he creates everyone in his image, says, but these people are my favorite.
Oh, he doesn't say favorite.
So what does it mean
Doesn't
to
say
be
favorite.
the chosen people?
It means you have a certain responsibility in the world, a certain mission in the world. In fact, I had this, and by the way, it's the favorite there. So I'll tell you one story and then say something specifically Christian Jewish. I remember once my brother is a professor at Emory, and so is the Dalai Lama. He no longer goes because he's older, but so my brother was bringing a bunch of students to meet with the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala, and
My brother always said because they fund you Zionists. Okay, I'm out.
Get the hell out of here!
I met them there. And so my brother and I had an audience with his wife, with the Dalai Lama, not with the Dalai Lama's wife, with my brother's wife. And as we sit down, and when I was there, I actually gave a lecture to the monks in Tibet about how you survive in exile, because they're all in exile. But when we sat down, the first thing, as he opened the conversation, he points at me and said, "What's this about the chosen people anyway?"
Yeah.
So I said, it's true. Jews believe they have a special mission in the world. I said, but that doesn't mean that other peoples don't have a special mission. We assume other peoples probably think they're chosen too. And he bursts out laughing. He goes, yeah, we also think we're special.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty much. Rap Kid said this guy's from the conservative movement. He's not a good example. I know. If you hold on to the Orthodox perspective, you might view conservative Judaism as not representative of real Judaism. There is a lot of reconciliation between conservative Jews and or conservative Judaism and Orthodox Judaism going on in America. Honestly, I'm an outsider, but I listened to the Rebbe recently in his speeches, and he was totally against this whole distinction, and he was pointing out that conservative Judaism is not fully observant Orthodox Judaism. However, it's okay for Jews to be part of conservative Judaism, and even for Jews to be who are part of Reform Judaism, to be part of Reform Judaism, although he does not believe or he does not think that it is a true representation of real Torah abidance, because all of them add value to the Jewish sphere in their own way, even if to him they are not doing it fully in the right way. And the best thing you could do is to show them your way, but let them go with theirs as well. And I know lots of people disagree with that, but I really like that. I really like the Rebbe's stance on it.
I don't know of a people that don't think they're special, even though the Jews always get this. If you ask the Albanians, are Albanians special?
Yeah.
I'm sure they will say, yes, Albanians are special. And the other piece of this is that I must confess irks me a little bit sometimes in conversations with Christians who have a hard time with the chosen people idea. Here's another theological difference between classical Christianity and Judaism. In order to be saved, you must believe in Jesus. If you don't, you're damned. Judaism does not have that. In the Jewish tradition, if you are a good person, you get whatever the world to come is, which is a separate question. But whatever it is, you get that. So in
I guess from an Orthodox perspective, you could object to this because the actual thought in Judaism, in Orthodox Judaism, is that if you are a good person and you believe in one God, right, then you have a place in the world to come. In Orthodox Judaism, the rabbis didn't have the stance that you can believe in whatever you want and be an okay person, and then you have a place in the world to come. Their belief, also represented in the Talmud, is that anyone who, even the foreigner or the convert, people who simply believe in one God and who observe the basic laws of the Noahide laws, have a place in the world to come. That is the general stance. But I guess there is some disagreement on the technicalities of what to actually believe and so on.
In fact, I think chosenness has less consequences eternally for Jews than belief in Jesus does for Christians. But nobody says to Christians, how dare you have this tremendous hubris that you think only people who believe like you can be saved.
Well, I think there's
This is the issue. This is not an attack on Christianity. This is just pointing out the hypocrisy of attacking Jews over this whole idea of being chosen people. There is no source ever in Judaism which ever says, because you are a Jew, because you are born a Jew, you are now better than others. It is the Bible itself that says you are not supposed to go about bragging as the people of God. You are supposed to follow the laws of God, and if you don't, then you are not favored, basically, right? Jews hold that somebody who converts to Judaism is in many ways better than somebody who was born into Judaism. And the Jewish idea is basically that God chose Jews, among others, for a specific role in order to follow these certain commandments, but God also chose other people for different roles, and everyone has their role. This doesn't mean that Jews are better than others. They will still be judged by the very same standards. In fact, Jews have to follow 613 commandments, according to the Orthodox Jewish idea, whereas non-Jews are only expected by Jews to follow 7 commandments. Do you think, why would you think that Jews therefore think they are privileged? Jews think they have a much bigger burden, right? 100 times bigger almost than the rest of the world. So anyway, let's switch over again to our imbecile here.
Consequences to stealing from other people, killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old. Like, if you think those things are okay, that you believe there isn't consequences to stealing from other people, killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old.
I'm a little bit confused here. The first thing I heard is just saying kids that are 9 years old. Then I have to listen to it again, and he says under 9 years old.
Killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old. Like,
what the hell am I listening? I really need help right now. Oh my God. My first instinct, my first knee jerk reaction was to call out the hypocrisy here, because it is Islam that is actually about marrying 9-year-olds and having sex with them. This is what Islam does, right? It's what Islam does. Most who are here already know the issue. Some who might tune in for different reasons might not know. But it's not Judaism, it's actually Islam that has this tradition here. It was narrated by Aisha herself that the Messenger of Allah married me when I was 6 and consummated the marriage with me when I was 9. This is Islam. It is agreed by Muslim scholars that Aisha was 6 years old when the marriage was arranged, and 9 years old when Muhammad, who was at that time 53 years old, climbed on top of her and had sex with her in his bed. This is Islam. But then this guy says under 9 years old.
killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old. Like if you think
The Talmud is quite explicit on one thing, which is that you may not, under any circumstances, betroth or marry off a minor. And children reach the age of reason and maturity when they undergo the bar mitzvah, which is around the age of 12, 13, and so on. And you have
Alrighty, Benjamin said.
you have later sources from the Shulchan Aruch, which is the most important, one of the most important, most highly regarded law texts of Judaism, of Rabbinic Judaism, which are very clear on one thing, which is that the ideal age to marry is the age of 18. 18. And at that point, it was suggested that some people marry at the age of 13. This is only for those who choose it, but before the age of 13, one should not marry because it is similar to harlotry. Similar to harlotry. That's how bad it is. But yeah, Dan Bilzerian said raping kids under 9, so he must be right.
think those things are okay, then, how are you going to operate? Because to me, like my moral code keeps me on track.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's
Wait, what keeps him on track?
Then, how are you going to operate? Because to me, like my moral code keeps me on track.
All right, man. We might as well just here we come again to the hypocrisy of people who push this guy. Here is your moral code. Here's Dan Bilzerian's moral code. Dan Bilzerian's moral code. Here. These are prostitutes, by the way. These are not just friends or women or anything. Here's his moral code. I'm sorry to abruptly put this on the screen here, but here's his moral code. This is, of course, what Western society, what traditional Western society, what Christian society, Candace Owens, Patrick Bet-David, all of these people, this is what they all fight for because they are sick of all the degeneracy and the emptiness and the nihilism in the West. This is his moral code. His moral code is also further the following. Let me see. Legal issues. Legal issues. His moral code is also this one. In 2014, Bilzerian was involved in a legal matter with pornographic actress Janice Griffith. Griffith was featured in a photo shoot with Bilzerian for Hustler magazine. It's always the same people, isn't it? Always the same people. One person promoted by Candace Owens and others is Andrew Tate, who made millions, who became rich because he ran a human trafficking, sex trafficking porn business. And here you have another. Griffith was featured in a photo shoot with Bilzerian for Hustler magazine in April 2014, which involved Bilzerian throwing her off the roof of a house and into a pool. Griffith fell short of the pool, hitting the edge and broke her foot. The 18-year-old, as soon as she's 18, of course, it's fine, asked Bilzerian for $85,000 for her injuries, which was rejected. In December, she filed a lawsuit against both Hustler and Bilzerian, blah, 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 and so on. Perfect moral code, of course. In August 2014, Bilzerian was banned from a Miami nightclub for kicking model Vanessa Castano in the face during a brawl. The great moral code that he abides by, which makes him dislike Jews, right? Here's an image of them side by side. Very, very tough guy, Dan Bilzerian. Very tough guy. During a brawl, kicked a model in a nightclub in the face. Here it is. Bilzerian was banned from a Miami nightclub for kicking model Vanessa Castano in the face during a brawl. He kicked her in the face in the nightclub during a brawl, which is why he was suspended, banned from the nightclub. This is, of course, the great toughness of people like Dan Bilzerian. This is what they talk about when they are tough. Ecclesiastes here. Please stop using the beautiful name of the beautiful book of Ecclesiastes. Says Stalin was a Jew. Stalin didn't like Jews. You are a complete imbecile if you think Stalin was a Jew. So you are such a moron. Even your friend, even your hero Nick Frito, came out blasting Candace Owens for suggesting that Stalin was a Jew. How do you even breathe? How do you even have the capability? Who taught you to breathe? If you weren't taught by anybody, you would probably not know how to breathe. You would probably choke and die. That's how stupid you are. Ecclesiastes here. I don't want to call you Ecclesiastes. Look, I have Ecclesiastes here. I have it here with me as a single book because I love it. I read it occasionally. Love this book. Please don't misuse that book. You are icky, I don't know, some Nazi piece of crap here, turning up, talking trash about Jews. Stalin was a Jew. Stalin was not a Jew, you idiot. Stalin didn't like Jews, which is why he was happy to make an agreement with Hitler. Lenin was not a Jew, you moron. You absolute idiot, you imbecile. Man, you're probably so dumb that you walk into a glass door every single time if nobody tells you about it. Anyway, let's get back to the other idiot here.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's because you're saying it one-sided. You're not telling the other side of the story on what they're doing either. You're not saying what Hamas did. You're not saying what they did.
What did Hamas do?
I mean, from day one, when you see the rapes and the videos, we've all seen it.
Communism wasn't invented, you idiot. It was proposed by different individuals. The main guy known for it, Karl Marx, has Jewish ancestry, but he himself was not Jewish. In fact, he hated Jews. He didn't like Jews. I will tell you a secret here right now. Jews, like every other people, are a group of people that consists of different individuals who hold different views, politically, religiously, personally, and so on. Some of them may agree with certain worldviews, others may disagree with them. Some of them may have certain religious beliefs, others may have other religious beliefs. Some of them might support communism, others might not. Some of them might be religious, others might be non-religious. I hope you think about this further. I don't think you have ever thought about this. This is probably the first time in your life that you ever formed a proper thought, or that you actually heard somebody form a proper thought. I don't think you can actually think. So I don't hope for very much here. Just please take Ecclesiastes out of your name. It's an embarrassment.
This isn't something
What rapes and videos?
But stay on this here if you want to continue with this.
But what rapes?
Something
what rapes and videos?
But stay on this here if you want to videos. We've all seen it. This isn't something
what rapes and videos?
But stay on this here if you want to continue with this.
But what rapes and videos?
But my concern when you're saying Israel's doing it, you're saying the other side.
He asking for rape videos of Hamas. Meanwhile, totally saying that there is a gang rape video by the IDF. Just don't ask him for the evidence.
Isn't doing anything.
No, but I'm asking. No. There was no rapes during October 7th.
Yes, there was. And if you deny this, then you're a scumbag. In fact, you shouldn't even be alive, probably.
They've shown no rapes from October 7th. They showed no beheaded babies. All that was all bullshit.
I'll send you stuff. No. There's plenty of stories. It's not all of them.
The Israeli articles that I saw recently said that there was only 2 babies killed. One was shot by a bullet, and the other one died in a hospital. There was no babies in ovens. There was no beheaded babies. All that was all bullshit.
The big. Okay, so go back to the part when you said they think they're better than you. You believe that Jews think they're better than everybody else.
It says it in their Bible.
Okay, but you believe they're better than everybody else. Okay.
It says in their Bible. It says in their Bible. It says in their Bible. Oh, what an idiot, man. Why am I even listening to this guy? Because it's fun, I guess. I don't know. It says in their Bible. In the Bible. In their Bible. Uh-huh. Okay. So you're telling me that in the Christian Bible it also says that Jews are better than everyone else. Huh. That's interesting. Christians, does your Bible tell you that Jews are better than everyone else? Because the Jewish Bible is also part of the Christian Bible. I'm not sure if he's aware of this. The guy is completely retarded, but I don't think he knows this at all. But the Jewish Bible is also part of the Christian Bible. So Christians, does the Bible say that Jews are better than everyone else? What a freaking idiot, man.
Okay.
I didn't say they're better than everybody else.
They think.
According to their scripture.
Okay, but what if
According to the scripture, they think they're better than everybody else. Gosh, shut up.
And if you look at how they operate, right? Like they literally caught people raping Palestinian prisoners.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
And there was riots. But the
There was not riots.
riots weren't because they were raping the prisoners. The riots were because they felt like they had the right to rape the fucking prisoners.
No.
That's why they almost had a fucking civil war, because they felt like they had the right to rape these prisoners. They felt like that was okay because they weren't Jewish. So
Nope, that's not what happened at all. What happened is that the IDF detained 8 people, 8 IDF reservists, for allegations of abuse at a detention camp. In response to that, the religious right and certain aspects of the right went out to protest for their release because they accused the authorities of being overzealous and wrongfully detaining soldiers who are already enough under pressure fighting this war over allegations, right? There were, of course, some extreme elements who said, we don't care what they did, and so on. But the idea was the authorities should not be overzealous in detaining IDF reservists over these allegations and treating them as if they were guilty. That's it. And they were detained for interrogations. They then released most of them because it turned out in most of the cases, or most of the people were uninvolved, and there was and the incident reported was not really as initially reported. That's what happened. Nobody went out saying, we have a right to rape everyone else.
So, when you have a society that
Riots, yeah, right.
operates like that, you're going to have fucking problems. And they're not the fucking most moral army. That's all fucking bullshit. And, everything that they say, it's just like almost like, listen, when somebody lies to me, like if you lie to me, I'm not probably going to trust you again. You lie to me a second time, I'm definitely not going to trust you. You lie to me a third.
Oh, big boy. Of course, he has a big moral code, which is why we should trust him with everything. I mean, I just fact-checked this guy for, how long have I been live? 2 hours? I've been live for 2 hours. I don't know if anyone took count of how much this guy lied. But I really have to pause so much because this guy is just telling lie after lie after lie after lie. And I must say that while much of it is lying, because he is a hateful bastard and a liar, much of it is also, of course, complete ignorance, because the guy is totally retarded.
Third time, and I let you lie to me the third time, I'm the fucking idiot. These motherfuckers have lied like 10,000 times. So, like, I don't believe anything they say.
They lie all the time. They lie all the time.
I come from a place of I don't sit here expecting you to tell me 100% the truth. I don't sit here thinking, yeah, Dan's going to tell me 100% the truth with whatever he has in his life. I don't expect that from you, because I don't expect people to walk on water. That's not my expect. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live it with my life. But you can't think that China's going to tell us the truth, or Iran tells us the truth, or US tells everybody the truth, or you think any country is going to tell us 100% the truth.
But I don't know, man. I got a different moral code. Like,
I don't know, man. But me personally, for example, like America never lied. Never lied to anybody. I know about Armenia, for example. Armenia never lied to anyone. There's not a single time that Armenia ever lied. And then I'm also a citizen of the St. Kitts, and they also never lied. Like Israel is the only country. Israel is the only country that is allowed to lie. Israel is the only country that lies and still exists. No, all the other countries, they never lie. I never lie.
In gambling,
It's not
and-
about- you
and-
have a
well,
different
but in
moral
gambling
code.
and business, like with my friend
I'm a gambler. I never lied in gambling.
group, like you lie one time, you welch on a debt, you do one
You're
thing.
talking friendship, though.
I'm just saying-
I know this very well. I have a perfect moral code because I'm a gambler, and everyone knows that gambling is the best thing ever. It's such a great moral thing to do.
My friends, people that I know, people that I do business with,
Very-
people I gamble with, like
It's the same thing I have as well. It's the same thing most people have. There's a difference between on the personal side than on the countryside. So you're America first. Is it fair to say you're America
Yes.
first? Okay.
Yeah, I'm America first, man. I'm America first. I just don't want to support any other country, and that's what it means to be America first, right? Yeah.
How do you feel about the protesting and the rioting going on in schools, academia, Harvard, Columbia, when you've seen all the stuff that's going on, Free Palestine, gays for Gaza. When you see that, what do you think about it? Does it do anything to you?
I like gays. I like them a lot. Actually, I don't want to talk about that right now because if I start talking about that, we're going to go into a whole big hole, and no pun intended here. But
Or you're like, let me support them?
I mean, I think it's pretty funny that it wasn't a problem until it was against Israel. It wasn't a problem with BLM. It was fucking encouraged with
There's
BLM.
always a problem with
Bullshit.
BLM.
They fucking encouraged it. They let them burn down police stations. There was no
For me-
repercussions.
Nah, I'm not talking
No,
mainstream.
no, I'm talking about
Yeah.
our government, our media encouraged that shit, right? They encouraged it when it was BLM. Like they literally burnt down police stations and it was fine. The
true, totally different things though.
mayor came out and was like, no problem, no arrests, no big deal. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Janike Yazani said, America first, yet abandon our allies. This is just the mindset that these guys have. The idea is, well, if America first means we don't support Israel and we don't support, we just don't give them anything anymore, right? We're focusing on America. Well, first off, it's very, very suspicious that out of all of the partnerships that we have, all of the alliances, the one thing that they seem to focus on all of the time is Israel. It's clearly not about alliances. It's clearly not about being America first. It's just about Israel, right? That's it. I'm sorry, if you're going to tell me, oh yeah, I'm against Israel and I'm against these lobbies and this and that because I'm America first, bullshit, okay? You just don't like Jews. You hate Israel. That's it. That's it. Just prove me wrong by talking about a different country at some point. Plus, this whole idea that oh, yeah, we should just focus on America. If your idea is really that we shouldn't support Israel in any way because we should be America first, and that would mean, if you were consistent, that America should literally stop all kinds of international agreements and alliances, drop everything, and be completely isolationist. Do that, and your country will turn into something like North Korea. Yeah, do that, and your economy will turn to complete crap in no time. Go ahead. This is such a stupid look at reality. It's so dumb, man. Wow.
Let's say China.
Whenever somebody says China, I have to think of this.
China. 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 You go over to China. 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 You take China. 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 I love them. China. 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 I have to have my China. China. China.
I have to have my China. This lives rent free in my head, as they say.
Right.
Take down statues, destroy buildings, burn cop cars, do whatever you want to do.
I'm saying, yeah, this is just what we're doing.
Protest. BLM was not peaceful.
BLM.
$2-3 billion of damage they did to small business owners in communities that African Americans are living in. And who controls mainstream media? And there's only 2 outlets right now. We're talking to a couple of your friends here that were during lunchtime. We're having a conversation while we're having dinner with who controls mainstream media, the left.
I don't know, but they're controlling my sandwiches. Earlier I had a BLM sandwich, and those BLM sandwiches don't taste like they used to taste, and it's because of the Jews, and you can find it in
That
their
they vote
Bible,
with
right?
their money.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but like at the end of the day, I think how much money goes into these campaigns isn't going to dictate as much as a college admission.
I'm so bored. This is just so stupid. I don't think I'm going to go into the other one with this other guy anymore. What made you grow so much on Instagram? Sex addiction come to be. What are the biggest mistakes guys make? Where to start when it comes to improving your game? Why is tunnel vision so bad? Women, reason women cheat. Trigger a girl to chase you. That's it. It's all just about having sex with women. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this. Oh, it is. Wait a minute. Does this have timestamps? Political situation, most egregious citizenship. Anyway, I don't care. I don't care anymore. The guy is a complete imbecile. Absolute imbecile. Yeah. The only thing that I want to say to Patrick, Bet, David, and I'm actually going to message them, is to invite Kim Kardashian next. And also have her opinion on the whole issue. On all of these issues. Because if we're going to invite Armenians because they're Armenian and because they are known, then we should just have the biggest known Armenian there. And that is Kim Kardashian. Ayatollah Khamenei said, coked out on non-blinking eye contact between PBD and Bilzerian, reminding me of Miami real estate deals in the 80s. PBD Bilzerian are truly living in a winter wonderland with all snow floating around that room. Bro has 17 lionfish in that aquarium. He's America first, but the clown went to Armenia to join the Armenian army in 2018. Must have been jacking it in his Bugatti the whole time. Really? Did that really happen? He went to Armenia and registered for military service. Went to Armenia to obtain citizenship and join the Armenian armed forces. That's interesting. That's interesting. You know, when you become a citizen, when you become a U.S. citizen, you are asked different questions about your allegiance to different countries. And you're also asked specifically if you served in different militaries. Like I served in the Turkish military, for example, because I had to. And I have to specify why I served there, because it is something that actually calls into question your allegiance and your loyalty to the United States for the future. So it is actually considered a question of loyalty and allegiance in America, whether you participate in a different country's military force or not. And I even have an excuse, because Turkey, unfortunately, is actually an ally of America and part of NATO. Dan Bilzerian doesn't have an excuse, which I think actually shouldn't be the case. I think Armenia should be allied with the West. Unfortunately, there is some historical garbage there, but yeah, this is very funny. And this guy is America first? Okay. Anna Linda said, true, ask the Europeans, they say no to Islam. Yeah, these American privileged guys are just... You see, AP only hates Islam because he wants Turk transgenders to get affirmative action to graduate from German universities and give Israel money. That's what they do. That's what I do. That's what I do. Pronote gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very, very much. Ari Wasserman, Dan Kasparian. I heard from Stu Peters that the Jews sank the Titanic, so they must have sunk my rave yacht in the Bahamas. These two are tanking my opinion of the Armenians. Yeah. No offense to Armenians. Armenia is based. Actually, it's a pretty bad country in terms of development and all that, but you could probably blame that on the surroundings and circumstances, political matters, geopolitical matters, and so on. It's a pretty terrible country by Western standards. I met Armenians in the past. They were nothing but nice people. Nothing like Dan Bilzerian. Arya Wasserman said, but then again, being of a certain ethnicity or nationality is nothing at all. It's just that. This proves that ghosts are real, since the Jews have killed everybody on the planet who hates them, but they keep hating on them. This is true. This is true. Daniel Kinkajou said, this man's haircut is literally genocide. It is. My friend died in those wars. The people you have paid to hang out with aren't your friends, Dave. Fox Big Cloud, he did have weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, Saddam did have weapons of mass destruction and had also in development the pursuit of weapons of mass destruction, and they also gave the impression that they have them. This was not a lie. It was a misdirection at the end, at best. Nobody's killed more Muslim than other Muslims. Yep. Ari Wasserman, nobody should miss Saddam. He did use and had produced weapons of mass destruction in the past, and it was basically a perfect combination of Hitler and Stalin. He just didn't produce much between 1998, when he kicked the UN inspectors out in 2003. It's just so bizarre and so messed up when people actually start defending Saddam and accusing all kinds of claims about him as all kinds of people who made claims about him as liars and all that. I met people who suffered under the regime of Saddam Hussein. I met Kurdish people whose families, who lost their entire families, who lost friends, whose people were eradicated, mass killed by Saddam Hussein. Gosh. They were killed by Saddam's weapons of mass destruction. Ayatollah Khamenei said, the phase when Yayo has destroyed your cognitive facilities so much that you have to rely on some dumb woke speak and spell app to think for you. See, I can't read. I'm probably on cocaine as well. Steph, Dan suffers from Israel derangement syndrome. Oh, that's why people were saying IDS earlier. Yeah, we should popularize that much more. Dan suffers from Israel derangement syndrome, a condition that leads to severe anti-Semitism if not treated. He's very sick. I think these people just hate Jews more than they hate Israel initially. The hating Israel aspect is simply part of hating Jews. That's what they do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
This man has real problems.
Fox McCloud, Bilzerian entered the Navy SEAL training program in 2000. However, after several attempts, he did not graduate. He was reportedly dropped from the program for a safety violation on the shooting range. That sounds accurate. Ayatollah Khamenei, China don't go, no APAC. You know what's funny? I was in the military in Turkey, and for my whole life, I was never somebody who walked around bragging and thinking, yeah, I'm so masculine, so strong, and this and that. I always detested that attitude, and I had people like that in the military as well. When I was in training in the military, people going around acting like, "You're quiet, you're pathetic, and this and that. I'm strong. This is tough guy place. Military is a place for tough guys who know how to use guns, and so on." When the first time came that we were tested for at the shooting range with rifles, I was among the top 3 in aiming and using the gun correctly, the rifle. And lots of these other guys who bragged about being such tough guys, they many of them sucked and did horribly and were chastised for their misuse of weapons and so on. This is just, people like to brag about what they don't have. Didn't we leave this fool in 2018 with his cat fraud? We should have. Bro is trying to revive that little St. James lifestyle and saying kids. He shouldn't. Philip Daniel, Armenia has a massive, powerful lobby in the US that uses the genocide to erase complexity and shades of gray of the Karabakh conflict. Dual loyalty. Yeah. Ari Wasserman, Dan Kardashian. I learned from this guy named Zakir Naik that Artsakh isn't being bombed by Azerbaijan, but the Jews blew my mind. Hey, you know what's funny, by the way? He actually did say something about Azerbaijanis because he's Armenian. Dan Bilzerian. Some of his Muslim fans should probably look at that. He accused them of having. Here's the article. Newsweek says Dan Bilzerian says Azerbaijanis sodomites farm animals as he encourages Armenian soldiers. To all the Armenian boys out there fighting to not be eradicated, stay strong. Your nation is behind you. I'm behind you. I'm proud of you guys. Keep fighting the good fight. Remember, no matter how bad things get, at least you're an Azerbaijani. You don't sodomize farm animals. I really want some of his Muslim fans to have a look at that and see what they think about it. Daniel the Kinkaju, Dan has been trimmingly molested. Yeah. Idiots were crying after that PBD had sold out. Yeah. Dan Tough Guy Bilzerian lies about his 5'7" height. A real Napoleon complex dude. Demons exist. Dan's haircut is the proof. I've been to New York, the Big Apple, and Manhattan. I'm an expert on the state of America. Yeah, true. I went to Iraq twice, actually, which is why I'm an expert on Iraq, everything Iraq. Absolutely, that's how it works. I've also been to Montenegro by accident once, which is why I'm expert on the matter. Mumu Joe, these dummies, he has zero knowledge of the issue or the area. The fact he has billions of following him, unbelievable. It is crazy. Watching with delay, Ridvan, compared to what came since 2015 to Germany, Turkish immigrants are elite. They are much more willing to work. Kuse. Yeah, that's what I heard from some others as well. That it sounds pretty bad, but also kind of funny. Lots of people were complaining about Turkish immigrants, but then after the other waves started coming, they thought, well, I guess the Turks weren't that bad. Mumujo, every person in UN alive that say is in the Palestinian, believe the genocide. It's not about believing it is or it is not. Even if 200K will unalive, it is not genocide, it is war. The number of deaths doesn't mean anything about whether it's a genocide or not. This is just, people are dumb. Anti-Israel stuff reminds me of the Dawa script. That's basically what it is. Thanks, AP. That's it. Just thanks, said Lori Cheto. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Lori Cheto. Thank you. Appreciate it. I thank you just for that. When somebody just says thank you and nothing else, I just feel the need to say thank you to them twice. The Sahih Muskris, PBD is allergic against confronting his guests. Yeah, he seemed like he's doing softballs, just like with Andrew Tate. Mumu Joe, these two people that live in land that is not theirs said Israel wanted the land, so they wanted the massacre. PBD, I totally get it. I was invited to PBD for a long time ago, but then just before the show, they suddenly said, hey, we have to postpone this for sometime in 2024. They haven't gotten back ever since, which might be understandable because I also pretty much insulted them in my reply to the cancellation in a nice way, because I was on the way, right, driving, buying stuff, getting ready, driving to the airport. The night before, I would leave in the morning to fly to their office, and then suddenly I get the message and say, hey, sorry, just to let you know that the show has been canceled. We have to do this again sometime next year. And I'm thinking, are you freaking serious, man? This is how you guys operate? Anyway, and they said in the message, I hope this doesn't cause many problems. I hope this didn't cause problems or something like that. And I then responded with, I then implied that it actually did, but it's all right. Or something like that. I don't know. I sent them a little bit of a pissy response. Ness Ivan, Israel killed their own in the festival. 4K people with 4K phones with cameras were there, yet not a single chopper video. Bro, these were Allah copters. Yeah. They're accusing Israel of also killing people during the festival. Yet there is no single photo, no single video. Thousands of survivors from that incident, but not a single person actually captured anything of Israel firing at their own people. And these are the same guys who ask for evidence whenever Israel says something, and then reject the evidence when Israel provides the evidence. The Sahih Muskris, PBD, Israel treats everyone equally. You know what's funny? Actually, I wanted to do this whole response because I saw in a clip that Dan Bilzerian said something about ISIS. But that was from his chat with Myron from Fresh and Fit. I was assuming that he would also talk about this in this episode, but he didn't. This just reminds me. But whatever, I don't care. Guy's an imbecile. PBD, Israel treats everyone equally. Dan Tuperian, Israel is like treating people unequally, like apartheid, dude. PBD and Jelly, I don't disagree. You forgot to add a bunch of F words there as well. And Wyckoff, Dan Bilzerian looks and acts like every reconstruction of an early Neanderthal, but sure, he's read the Talmud. It's in their Bible. It's in their Bible. That's what they say. Like, it's in the Bible, Jew better other week. Talmud 23:7. Please make that an image. I want to post that on Twitter. The truth about the Talmud. And Wyckoff, the Babylonian Talmud has 2,711 double-sided pages and 63 volumes, and somehow Dan Bilzerian read it. It's so incredible, isn't it? So absolutely incredible. Tyler Parks, I'm leaving. Have a good evening. You too. Thank you. The Talmud has a word count of it has 2,711 pages. It has about a 2 million word count or something like that. 2 million words. The Babylonian Talmud. The Bible, a Christian Bible, King James Bible, has 783,000 words. The Talmud is significantly larger than that. I don't think that was even accurate. The Talmud is much more than that. I will not for a second believe that somebody like Dan Bilzerian actually read the Bible ever, once, let alone having a look at the Talmud. The Talmud. The Bible. Max, I live in Hamburg. Here, Palestine and rainbow flags are seen every day, everywhere. I'm surrounded by leftist and Muslims. Love you, AP. Thank you. Appreciate it. But hey, don't worry, because some idiots in America, Dan Bilzerian and Nick Frito, say that is all not a problem. It's all just a distraction. All you have to actually worry about is DEI and transgender stuff in Israel. That's it. You don't have to worry about any of the stuff that you're seeing out there. Leob, is Allah gay? Yes. And became a member. Welcome to the membership. You are now part of this cult. You are not allowed to leave anymore. And one day we will create a big compound where we will all live together by force. Philip Daniel, everyone who lets his daughter be married as a minor ends up guilty of bloodshed. Avod the Rabbi Nathan, page 298. That's pretty based. But hey, we don't want to make excuses for the Talmud, or otherwise some people here who just want to look at online memes get angry that we are defending Jews. Ayatollah Khamenei, anti-Semite. Stalin was a Jew. Trotsky, am I a joke to you? Yeah, Trotsky was a Jew. Stalin was not a Jew. He had a lot of people on his list of suspicious people who were Jews. In his time, the idea that Jews are people who conspire against the Soviet Union became very popular. They couldn't care less about the Nazi persecution of Jews. They loved it, actually. Gabe said, don't be mean to people who walk into glass doors. Passive apology. Nice to see you, Gabe. Passive apology. Why do you like Ecclesiastes so much? Favorite part? I don't know. It's because there's something about it that I really appreciate, because it's more than just a religious text. It's very deep. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil, at which he toils under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to a place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Around and around goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. All things are full of awareness. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear satisfied with hearing, filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, see, this is new, it has been already in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of later things yet to come among those who come after. This is just a text that is so that deals with, what later became existentialism, just in a totally different fashion. it's very much ahead of its time. I don't know. I love reading this. It's very, 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 very interesting. The whole general sentiment of the book is just, it's something that I really like. Ayatollah Khamenei, does this guy have some Armenian Bible I don't know about? Does it smell like Drucker Noir and whistle at 13-year-olds in Glendale? Gotha, well, in the book of the Council of Nicaea, it clearly says Jews are better in every way. That's why it was taken out of the Bible. Ayatollah Khamenei, lie to me once, I'm going to snort coke. Lie to me twice, I'm probably going to snort more coke. Ancient Bilzerian family proverb. Nathaniel Rosen, thank you so much, said, how are you these days? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. Trying to get things done. Trying to get things done. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. And because that was just a super chat asking me how I am, it obviously came from Mossad. Snugwick says the God of Israel lives. Hey, you know what's funny? The other day I made a stupid reply to Tim Pool, and nobody understood it, and I felt so lonely in the world and so misunderstood. Nobody got my joke. I felt so disappointed in humanity. So Tim Pool said God is real, and I said God of Israel. And then people started responding to it in all seriousness. Somebody saying, Devil Israel. Alpha Omega, yes, he's not talking about, it's obvious, we are Israel. Nobody got the wordplay here. All I was doing was just, he said God is real, and I was just saying God is real. It was so stupid that nobody understood me. I was almost considering ending it all on that day. Captain Lamb 2.0 said, I'm South African originally, but served in the Royal Australian Army. It wasn't an issue for me at all when I went to get US citizenship, probably because the US and Australia are our allies. Yeah, I mean, as soon as I told them, yeah, I went to the military, it was obligatory. They were like, okay. But they ask you when you're naturalized to renounce your allegiance and loyalty to any other entity. Yaron Elalouf said Israel could be heaven without their enemies. Truth. Given the circumstances, surrounded by terrorism, surrounded by enemies, plagued by terrorism every day, Israel is amazing. Absolutely amazing. A century ahead of all its neighbors. You see, this is why Jews are better than everyone else. Pat's leather strap said Dave killed Stephen Paddock. Give the man respect. Okay, fine, I will. Celeri Rosengren, hey Celeri, what's up? I promoted your channel yesterday. Solomon indeed possessed a great mind. Much can be gleaned therefrom. He was a troubled soul, but contributed some of the Bible's most profound texts. That's true. Attributed to him. Pretty nice text. Except that he said, apparently in the Song of Solomon, he said that Muhammad will come in the future. That's what Muslims claim. Anyway, so, yeah. You should have said Israel. I know, but I don't want to explain my jokes, and I want it to be more subtle. Unfortunately, nobody understood me. I'm so alone in this world. Anyway, thanks for watching. In about 1 hour, I believe, David will go live with Brother Rashid, and everyone who wants to watch boring stuff can go watch that. I am going to go offline now, and we'll be together with everyone again tomorrow talking about Andrew Tata. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Jose Garcia said people who think Yahweh is Satan are weird. People think all kinds of weird, messed up things. If you believe in any form, in any way in the Bible, you should not have such thought. That's just so ridiculous. And I said it as a non-Bible believing person as of now. Alhamdulillah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Jews strong, others weak. Talmud 42:0. AP is going to cry now because he's not invited. He's not welcome on the Wood stream. Yeah, as soon as David said we're going to have a stream with Rashid, I think I'm never going to invite David again, ever. From now on, I'm alone. I'm on my own. That's what I do. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Hope it's well understood that Dan Bilzerian is a complete idiot, as if there were any doubts about it. And I hope that PBD can, from now on, invite better people like me, or even better, Kim Kardashian, instead of giving the platform to people like Dan Bilzerian. This message goes out to you, Patrick Pitt David. You have 24 hours to respond. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a fantastic day. And as always,
Are you sick in the mind? Are you that mentally enslaved and intellectually subservient and intellectually molested and ideologically molested?
Sorry, that was the wrong one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And as always,
stay away from Islam.